Sandra all the time is here with a cold heart true. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth telling, more problem solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. How's everyone doing this beautiful Friday morning? You folks good? We're about to get it. Let me start up Instagram, fire up Instagram, kaboom. Good morning. It is Friday, February the 14th. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I know it's the day for lovers, but you know what? There's lots of different types of love. So show your love to everybody in your life today. You got friends that you need to say, I love you, because you never know when they're gone, when they're going to be gone, honey child. So we're going to do a little love exercise this morning. Everybody ready? All right, let's send out the links first so we can get as many people as possible on here. And then I'm going to tell y'all what the love bombing exercise is. Thank you guys so much for all of the beautiful Valentine's Day messages that you guys have been sending in. I appreciate it very, very, very much. Yes, thank you, Mr. Scandalous. Happy Valentine's Day to you as well. We got a little V-Day exercise for you guys, so hold on tight. I'm coming to you. All right, just sending out our little Friday links. And we got a full discussion this morning, talking about all sorts of things. Woo-hoo. Oh my gosh, I just saw the best Valentine's Day present. We're going to post this up. And this is pretty funny, actually. I love people who have a good sense of humor, don't you? Some of y'all, when we post stuff, y'all don't have a sense of humor. Oh my God, I'd be like, y'all need to relax. The last time y'all missed the mark was in relation to, I don't know why y'all got your little undies in a bunch, but when I replied to Juliana when she's talking about praying during this earthquake, I'm like, as leader of the country, I expected a slightly more comprehensive, my apologies, more comprehensive response than she was just praying. I mean, we all praying, but you know, at the end of the day, prayer is fine, but we expect you as leader to do a little toops more than just praying. I'm just saying, honey child. Can I get a hallelujah up in here today? Praying is wonderful. Trust me. Works wonders if you believe. But, you know, we wanted more than just prayers. Because we need a system that is informative to the people. Now, I got to tell you the truth. I've never seen her post so much on social media than she has lately. And I think that's because we're going to get a surprisation here on March the 3rd and see her show up at the polls to run against Dan Scott. She's not going to make that man take her seat. You know, sit there. She's been lying to us for 2 or 3 years now, telling me she's retiring. I honestly don't believe her. You know, March 3rd will be the day of reckoning for that situation. My goodness. So we're going to talk about that. here in a second. Got lots of politics stuff going on, honey child. So, all right, did I remember to send the links just now? Oh gosh, sometimes I be talking, I forget. All right, let me send it out to my groups. By the way, someone invited me to a group the other day and I had to ask them why. What was the purpose of the group? And it looks like it was just a hallelujah, praise the Lord kind of group. And I said, well, I'm capable of doing that on my own. And more than enough of you send me morning greetings and hallelujah messages every single morning. Y'all be wearing out my poor iPhone. That's why I have over 120,000 items that I got to figure out how to get rid of. And I appreciate the positive message, but man, sometimes I'm just like, oh my God. According to iPhone, I need to upgrade my backup plan. You'd be paying $30 a month for God knows how many terabytes of storage. I'm like, honey child, mama ain't doing that. That's wasteful of the dollar bills. So what I'm trying to figure out, anybody IT iPhone experts, I want to just wipe everything off my phone. I got it backed up in 2 different locations. So I think I'm fine. I want to wipe my iPhone and start over on the physical phone. Keep whatever is in the cloud. That's fine, whatever. I guess I can't really keep in the cloud though, because what iPhone is telling me is the cloud is full. So I need more cloud storage. Oh my gosh. What a mess. I'm going to have to start over because I got videos and stuff. I do want to keep some of them, especially anything with Gigi I want to keep. The other stuff, not so much so. But yes, anyway, what was I saying? What was I telling y'all, honey Jill? So I was saying, I appreciate the positivity, but I don't need to join a group just for that. No. I actually don't like groups, and I'll tell you why. People sit there talking all sorts of nonsense 99% of the time that's not even relevant to the group. I like group administrators who are kind of sticklers for like, okay, this is the remit of this group. Don't be sending nothing else in here. We don't want no prayer chains. And if you don't forward this, the Lord not going to give you your supper. You're not going to be able to afford Popeyes tonight. I'm like, yes, you are. If that's what you really want, you'll sacrifice and get it. He's going to pay your electric bill. You're going to get a miracle in 2 seconds if you forward this. I'm like, please, I ain't got time for that. I know how the good Lord going to make things happen for you. It's called get up and go to work. That's the solution he's provided for us. He's given you health and strength. And in the interim, health insurance, hopefully halfway decent. And he's like, yep, get up and go, honey child. There you go. Here's the monopoly board. Grab a little piece of land when you can and do what you got to do. That's the plan the good Lord has given you. So they didn't really answer my question about the group. And this is a friend of mine. I kind of felt bad telling her that I had to exit her group, but that's exactly what I did. I'm like, sorry, honey child, I got to go. I'd be too busy to be getting all these ping, 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 pong, 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 pong messages all day long. So couldn't be bothered with that. So, that's what I'm saying. All right. Let me just have a quick look-see here. Looky. A big, somebody just said to me, someone's like, do you ever sleep? Because they saw stories going at 3 something in the morning. All right. I would love to be able to take credit, make y'all think that I'm up 24/7, but I'm not. Because sleep is important, honey child, and I'm trying to get more of it these days. I'm going to be honest with you. I love to sleep if I can get it. And I know I don't get anywhere near the recommended amount. And so most nights, like last night, I'm going to bed after 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. That's bad enough. So that was not me actually posting those stories. I told y'all, I got a little team, So when I'm sleeping, sometimes they're up working. Our graphics guy, I think he's 11-hour difference. So poor thing. At night, he's always messaging to say do you need anything else from me? Because I want to go take a nap. I want to go to bed. And I got him working on a new project on the website as well. So I tell him, no, go to bed, get some sleep. You know, we'll work with what we have, because he's been customizing every single ad image now pretty much. And he's actually going back through and historically fixing those. Oh, I'm sorry, just saw a phone call coming in, but I haven't stuck in my headset yet. Give me 1 second, honey, chill. So yeah, he's doing that. And even this morning, I sent him a request. There's an accident, by the way, off of Crew Road. Before you get to Crew Road, actually. They're off of, what is that road called? Shamrock, I guess, by Lion Center. So if you're going in that direction, and you didn't check CMR for your morning messages, or you're not in the news group, you probably would not have seen that there's an accident there. So unfortunately, honey child, you're going to be stuck in a little bit of traffic. The good news is I'm here to keep you company. Look at that. Isn't that a blessing? Yes, honey child. All right, give me 1 second. I hear messages coming in, ping ponging. Let me turn those off. Maybe that's why the person was calling me. Sandy, we can hear you. We can hear them people ping ponging, sending you all them happy Valentine's Day messages. All right, I've muted that. Thank you so much. So yeah, you know, check the Facebook page in the morning for accidents and stuff. So I reckon he might be sleeping now, because he has, you know, we're all trying to keep up with each other in different time zones. So oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I got a present today. Should I tell you guys what it is? Let me think about it, because I just got a message that it might be at the store, and I'm like, ah! Oh my God. I love a good present, honey child. And I'm going to tell you the truth. The best shopper for me is me. What can I say? I tell Marlon, don't worry yourself. You know, most men are not good at picking presents and stuff. Have you guys seen the videos? There's a couple of them. I've seen like 2 or 3 now, where the women go around and they walk up to their significant other, their husbands and stuff. One was in a car and one was in the kitchen. And she comes in with a box of chocolate. She hands the husband the chocolate, like forcibly. She hands him a bouquet of roses and something else. Oh, a teddy bear. And then she gets out of the car. But this one was so funny. She handed him a box of Ferrero Rocher. Y'all know those are good chocolates, honey child. So she handed him a box of that, took one out, ate it, and then got out of the car, and he's looking all bewildered, like, what on earth? What's going on here? Then she gets back in the car, and she's like, oh my gosh, these are for me. Thank you so much. So the whole idea is you're showing your significant other how to give you something for Valentine's Day, because most men kind of miss the mark. So that was really, really funny. And then the one where she ate one of the chocolates beforehand, when she takes the Ferrero Rocher back from him, she's like, you ate one of my chocolates? Who does that? He was like, what? You just ate this. It's kind of funny. Anywho, Valentine's Day humor, honey jam. So yes, it is what it is. Now, I just saw a V-Day thing. Let me see where it saved itself, because I want to share this one with you guys. It is actually pretty funny. Didn't I just save this? Where did it go? Hold on. This one's funny. I'm going to share this. I think I might just make this my happy V-Day message. But I got to find it again. Where on earth did I put it just now? Give me a second. All right. So... So I got a V-Day present that is coming my way. And looks like it arrived just in time. I'm so excited. Let me see here now. All right. Let me show y'all. What the best present right now to give anybody is going to be let me see here now. Ready? Set. Let me look for it. Hold on, honey chill. Why do I hear a little bit of feedback in my mic this morning? Don't know what's going on there. Anybody else hearing anything strange but me? Something strange in the neighborhood? I'm hearing when I speak, it's almost like a little crackling. Is that just me? Or do you guys hear that as well? It's not really as clear as my audio should be. Bit strange. Sometimes I have to look and make sure I haven't pressed any additional buttons because, sometimes that happens, honey child. But I don't see anything pressed, so. It's a bit strange. I might just do a little restart later on. All right. Here's what I'm proposing to you all for Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. There you go. Best present ever. Right? Right. Now, don't y'all get up in your feelings about it. Because I know somebody's going to jump in the comment section. Oh, Sandy, you're so insensitive. Y'all, I tell y'all the response to Julie. Well, one person actually took the time to explain to me how earthquakes are formed. And I'm like, OMG. Clearly, this is someone who has zero sense of humor. And they never listen to my show because you don't think I know how earthquakes are formed? Lady, please. I'm not one of those people sitting outside talking about we have a little rain and a little thunder. And all of a sudden, the heavens are falling and the gods are coming. And, no. That was like 2000 AD. Oh, BC. When they didn't know what caused certain things. We have the scientific knowledge now, folks. We know exactly what going on, okay? Just relax yourself. It was a little bit of tongue-in-cheek humor at Julie, talking about all she can do is pray, honey child. Good morning, Shaka Zulu. Happy V-Day. Akil, morning to you. Happy V-Day. Marshall is in the house. K-Mankind is here. Yes, K-Mankind next week. Probably not Monday, but maybe the Tuesday. I got you for your seniors luncheon. I'll speak to Stacy about the menu because I'm thinking maybe I'll just have Stacy make it. I don't know yet. Because then I'm going to want to get in there and make all kind of stuff for you, like mac and cheese and potato salad and all kind of stuff. Ooh, then people going to be eating so good that day. Curry chicken. I got to do some little brownie mix up. So I got to treat y'all once a month. I can only commit to once a month because, child, we'll be going all out when we cook around, yeah. So we can't be taking that on too often. So once a month. And I think next week, Tuesday, might be a good day. So I'll speak to Miss Stacy about getting all the ingredients and stuff together. I'm thinking maybe the first time, is curry chicken okay for everybody? Tell her not to make it too spicy. But yes, isn't that beautiful? Forget diamonds. Oh, it's Thursday? I thought you said it was Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So give me the dates again. Monday and Thursday? Oh, okay. Well, put me down for Thursday. Oh, Thursday is laundry day. Let me think about that then. I'll speak to her and see what we can do. She have to start cooking early in the morning, so it's ready by lunchtime. Morning, Julian, Miss Linda, Andrea, Dee Dee, Damaris. You're hearing it too? Dee Dee, I don't know what's causing it. I feel like there must be something. Either something is open or something. Hold on, let me just mute. What I tend to do is I mute most of my sites so that I don't get any feedback or anything. But yeah, I'm hearing a little bit of like crispy, like a little bit of something. Not quite sure what that is. All right. Hopefully I'll figure it out because it ain't normal. I might have to do a full restart and everything after the show. Okay, let me just check my volumes here on the computer. You see what happens is I got computer volumes, and then I got volumes on the board, which should be stuff coming from the computer and my headset. So I don't know what's going on. Happy Friday and happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, Miss Anne. Thank you so much to all of you. All right. Well, we got a lot to share today. Let me see here. Denny keeps telling me how to, you see that little area of my back screen that has the light? He keeps telling me how to fix that. And you know, if I adjusted this, there is a little issue with this ball head though. It's not entirely, I feel like I need to tighten this somehow, but it doesn't want to stay in place a lot of times. There, is that better, Denny? I think that's probably the angle. That's probably more of 45 degrees. That's probably as best as I'm going to get it without taking too much light away from me, because then I get dark, because then I don't have sufficient light. I think that's a little bit better, actually. No mess. Monday and Thursday is chill club days. Tuesday is exercise day. Oh, but y'all don't eat on exercise day? Is that what you're telling me? That's probably the day to eat what I'm bringing you, because you know what they say is after you eat, try to walk for like 10 or 15 minutes after each meal. That helps with digestion and also helps you to keep a little bit of the weight, off, because you're doing some movements. Nothing strenuous. Morning, Abby. Happy Valentine's Day. All right. So there's lots going on in the neighborhood. Happy Valentine's Day to Carrie on this is another Carrie Whitaker. There's two Carrie Whitakers. There's Carrie Whitaker in the black, which was formerly Carrie Tibbetts. Then there's a guy, Carrie Whitaker. That's him on Instagram saying, "Morning, Sandy." Good morning to you, sir. Says, how about you use her real name and not the one she is trying to hide under now? Who is her? Huh? I'm lost. Who are you talking about, Carrie? Tell me. Clue me in. Who are we talking about? Give me the sauce. All right. I don't know. All right. Let me close. I'm going to close a bunch of my windows. I'm still hearing it. I don't know where it's coming from. Ugh. Anyway, probably later on I might figure it out. It's not too bad, but it's just enough to annoy me. You know how some things are like that? All right. I just turned that off. Class is going to be hot today. I see something about Juju last night on my tablet, and I was reading what they spent, $35,000. I tell you, things don't look good at all. I can hear you very well. How many times Marlon is going to marry you? That looked to me like another ring, the egg. Yes, sir. I know another person sent me an egg one as well, where she's proposing spoil her with something expensive this Valentine's Day, and it's a whole crate of egg. Not crate. Is that a crate? No, that's what do you call that? What's the 12-pack called? Not a crate, right? That's a what of eggs? What do we call that? We don't call that a crate of eggs, do we? Anyway, eggs. A thing of eggs. Yeah, I tell you, boy, the egg thing is next level. Good morning, Auntie. Don't park here. Yeah, that accident's crazy. Y'all need to learn how to drive. Accident kings again, says this person. Car straddling the median, so traffic both directions is affected, but the tow truck has just arrived, so hopefully things clear up. So follow the channel. Good morning, Kristen. All right. Let me see. A carton. It's a carton of eggs. Thank you. I was close with the C, maybe. Oh. What? Oh, Lord. Hold on, honey child. Thank you for that. I'll send that on to Renee so that she can action that. Somebody cut a little typo for me. No problemo. All right. Also, please post the latest story. Uh-huh. All right, she'll fix that right up. So, yeah, so I was gonna tell you all, Marlon is he is kind of funny he's not the best gift giver. I think he just doesn't know. I don't know if most men struggle with this. You can tell me, guys, if this is your issue as well. But he just doesn't know what to get. Like, it's the same cliche stuff. And I'm not really a cliche giver, right? So I am a giver. Can I just tell you, I was born a giver and I've had to pull back over the years, but it's just in my personality to give. And so sometimes you can wear yourself out. Good morning, caller. I definitely can't hear you. Hold on one second. Let me see what's going on. Maybe that's the issue. I don't know. Nope. Even when I plug that out, I still hear this thing. Hello? Nope. Still can't hear you, honey. Chill. Hello? No?
Yeah.
Let me. Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Good morning.
I can hear
Good
you now.
morning to
Happy
you.
Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you. God bless you, Miss Sandy.
Thank you
Is
so
it any
much.
chance after your show that you could give me a call, ma'am?
Yes. I got to run to physio, but yes. On the way to
Thank
physio, we can have
you.
a quick chat.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you. And enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
All righty. Yes, I was saying that he's not really the best giver. So he normally just gives me money, which most of y'all not gonna complain about. I saw something posted yesterday as well. Y'all were like, oh yeah, these women these days, all they want is money. I have never asked a man in a relationship for money or to pay any of my bills. I think that as an independent woman, I'm not really reliant on men like that. So for me, I think that that's so weird, but apparently it's a thing. Y'all are okay with asking guys for money. I mean, I think if you're in a relationship, and I also don't really believe in people living together before marriage. In fact, you know what happens when you live together before marriage? Most of those relationships end in divorce, believe it or not. Because I guess you begin to realize that, oh, he got one too many habits that I'm so not into. Nope. Forget about it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that if you're with someone, then they have to do them. And I mean, everybody's different in terms of what people like and what they don't like. My aunt has a funny saying about, taking you out to dinner. Now, I like dinner, so I like people to take me out because I connect over food. I mean, that's, I love food, I love good food, and I love conversation. And so for me, that's like an awesome way to like sit down and share a moment. And so every day, if we could go to lunch together, I think we probably would. And he's always calling me, oh, are you taking me? He has a funny, oh, are you taking me for lunch today? He always says that. And I'm like, especially if I call him, he's like, oh yeah, you're taking me for lunch. I'm like, pump the brakes on each channel. So yesterday I was going to go have lunch by myself because I wanted to have a good salad. So I ended up going to Legends. They have a salad on their menu that I had recently that was really good. And he just happened to call me. It was like 3:00 in the afternoon. I was having my first meal of the day. So I was really hungry. And he's like, what you doing? And I said, well, actually, I was just sitting down about to have lunch. And he's like, with who? And I'm like, by myself. So he joined me for a quick lunch and then he had to run back to work. So, dinners and stuff are good. Yeah. What else do I like? I suppose you can't go wrong with jewelry, hardly ever. But he's not going to spend the kind of money on jewelry that I would want. So Christmas time, he's just like, I don't know what you want. We always do a Miami trip. We try to do a Miami or Florida trip. He'll just give me money. He's like, here, treat yourself. Get whatever you want. So when I start buying shoes again, and he's like, no more shoes. He's trying to put a moratorium on my shoes, honey child. I was like, I said, well, you told me to get anything I want. So I want shoes. That's how that's going to work. Anyway, I don't know what to tell you. Happy Valentine's Day. Now check this one out. This is a good little video.
Mother said to my sister, because you are a giver, make sure you don't fall in love with a taker. Because a taker don't have limits. And neither does a giver.
Oh my gosh. Did y'all hear that? Should I play that one more time for those of you in the back of the classroom who have fallen asleep? Where's your hand this morning? How come I can't see him? I bet if I had brown eyes, I'd see him.
My mother said to my sister, because you are a giver, make sure you don't fall in love with a taker. Because a taker don't have limits. And neither does a giver.
Honey child, can I tell you, be careful. Be very, very careful who you fall in love with. Because like me, how I just told y'all I'm a giver, Lord have mercy. And I don't need anything to motivate me to give. I'm just a giver. That's just how I am. I love shopping for people. I should be a personal shopper. And so, you know, part of me really, really enjoys giving and stuff as well. And it's just, it makes me so happy to, you know, see a smile on somebody's face. Ooh, I'm happily married 35 years. Happy anniversary. That's so amazing. So this person says pickleball gear would be a win for me. And guess what? That's what I'm getting for Valentine's Day. They're absolutely right. Pickleball gear. How you know? Oh my gosh. So yes, that's oh, this is so funny. I love this one. Hold on. Let me show you guys this one as well. So yep, that's a win for me. I was looking at a new racket the other day. So yes, if you're a giver, be careful, be very, very careful that you don't end up with someone who all they want to do is take, because some of y'all don't know limits out there. All right, look at this. Oh my gosh, so funny. Most girls on Valentine's Day want roses, chocolate, jewelry, lingerie. Me, for radio fans, it is a nice piece of steak that is shaped in a heart. I wonder if Foster's did this on Valentine's Day. They should do that. And then here's another one. Spoil her with something expensive this Valentine's Day, and it's a carton of eggs. I know she's like, thank you, honey child. I love this. So this is the trending Valentine's Day joke for this year, is because eggs have gotten so expensive, so much so that people are stealing eggs. You guys saw was it 100,000 eggs that got stolen? Something ridiculous. And then on top of that, we had, I think it was another one that was like 40,000 eggs or something got stolen, or 50,000. Y'all are ridiculous. Stealing eggs. I'm just like, what? Yes, sir. That's what's going on. So if you're a giver, please don't get in a relationship with a taker, because neither one know their limits. That's a great relationship advice. All right. Miss Debbie, good morning. I have your seed for you. Those of you who requested the apple tree seed, what do the Jamaicans call it now? Oh gosh, I always get it right. OTET? OTET eggs, is that it? I feel like I might be getting it wrong. ETOT or OTET? How does it go? One or two of them. We have that egg.
Sorry, the number you are calling is unable to accept your call at this time.
Why? Why can't you accept my call? I was calling you back, honey child. Why can't you accept my call? So ETOT, I think. I think that's what you say it. I've never even heard this apple before my husband decided to plant one in our tree, and all of a sudden Miss Stacy around here juicing this thing, and I'm like, what? And Marlon loves it. And boy, she was loaded, so much so that the iguanas were eating The birds were eating them, and I don't know who else. So I don't see him eating them, but I see him juicing them. Well, Miss Stacy's juicing them. Miss Aline says, need the protein. It's O Tahiti? No, that's not how the Jamaicans say it, Soka. Come on now. O Tahiti. No, it's O-T-E-T, I think is how they say it. Can a Jamaican please call me and tell me how it go? We're probably butchering it. It's probably neither of those. Anyway, it has another like scientific name or something. But we have a tree. Seems to bear extremely well. So I know I was teasing y'all with some of the fruits of that tree. And we do have some seeds. So if you want a tree, okay, YouTuber says O-Ta-E-T. O-Ta-E-T? Good morning, caller.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's O-T-A-T, apple.
Hold on, say it again.
O-T-A-T?
O-F-E-A-T?
Yeah.
O-F-E-A-T.
O-T-A-T.
O-T-A-T.
Yes.
O-T-A-T.
O-T-A-T, apple.
O-T-A-T, apple. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me phonetically spell it. Everybody's sending it phonetically and it's all wrong. O-T.
O-T-A-T, apple.
All right, I got it. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it. So this is the
Yeah.
best way to spell it phonetically.
Yes.
Is because y'all sending all kind of stuff that got me confused. Appreciate it, honey.
Yes.
YouTuber tried to spell it a different way phonetically. O-T-E-T. But it's more like O-T-I-T. No, O-T, because you know you can pronounce some letters differently. So it's O-T-E-T or A-T. Oh, geez, I'm peace. What did she just say? O-T-E-T. Yes. So put that as an E. So O, like the long O, T-E-T. That's the way to do it phonetically. O-T-E-T. Yep, that's it. Gosh, the phonetic spelling. Listen, lately we've been using AI to help like script the news, which by the way, I got to get back to doing the news every day and all this stuff. And I've noticed that the AI doesn't get acronyms a lot of times. It doesn't understand acronyms, right? Or the voiceovers, right? So I have learned how to spell certain words phonetically so it will get it. So like RCIPS, well, I've also discovered if I just put a full stop between it, sometimes it figures out what's going on. So, Soka says you pronounced it just like the Polynesian island. She's wrong. Well, Soka, call us. We need to hear it. Call on, do you have WhatsApp? Call us, because now I'm confused. Hilton says Soka has it correct. What Polynesian island is this? Hold on. Oh, Tahiti. Oh, like Tahiti? That island? Oh, Tahiti. It is an Asian fruit, actually. I don't know how it got renamed as a Jamaican apple, but Jamaicans are gonna claim it, honey chill. Tahiti. That's it? Is that right? Well, I can tell you what. Jamaican not gonna pronounce it that way, honey chill. So I don't know. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm phoning with what I think is the pronunciation.
Okay.
I've been raised in Jamaica, and I think it's E-T-O-T.
E-T-O-T. That's
No,
how Jamaicans are pronouncing it, yeah.
E-T-O-T.
E-T-O-T. Okay.
That's
Yep. Thank you so
Bye.
much. All right. E-T-O-T. Soka says, nope. We got it wrong. Soka is she's the real teacher in the class because boy, she be getting us with all these pronunciations. This other person says Ofi-Ati. O-T-E. Long E-T. What a hot mess. This person says no, it's O-Tahiti. O-Tahiti. Oh, like Haiti. They're saying O-Tahiti. What a hot mess. Sandy, dear God, after being around agronomists, what's an agronomist? Are those people who obviously something with agriculture. For 23 years, it is Otahiti. See, Tahiti. So it's Otahiti. Otahiti. Agronomist. Let's look at what an agronomist is. I think, any takers on what an agronomist is? I think it's someone who is an expert in agriculture. Let's see. Agronomist is an expert in the science of soil management and crop production. More or less what I said. You know, the only reason I knew that is because I took a very useful course in university. I thought it was going to be easy A. Poor me. Did I not? So I was done with the math classes. I was like, listen, I'm not really a math person. I like languages and I like, you know, writing and more on that side. And so I had the opportunity to take this class for math credit, like it still counted, instead of math. I thought, this is great. Oh my God, I walked in there. It was the biggest auditorium class freshman year. And I was like, oh wow, this is a really big auditorium for a classroom. And it was all medical students. 99% of the people in there were medical students. I'm like, oh man, I'm in the wrong class. I need to be over there in the arts and sciences section, not science and medicine. And as it turns out, it was a class called Greek and Latin root words. And it was really good though, because every single word has pretty much Greek or Latin root to it. And once you learn what those are, it helps you to figure out what the meaning of words are without even knowing the word. Like you can look at a word that you've never seen in your life, just like agronomist. I got to be honest, I didn't really know what that was, but I could figure it out because of how it began with ag-re, or in this case, agro. So think about all the words that have agro in it: agriculturists, agrologists, agronomists, and all these other words, agriculture. So the Greek and Latin root of it will give you a pretty good idea of what it's all about. Like when you think of like your foot, what's the foot doctor called? Like all the medical professions and a lot of diseases, when you look at the word, you can figure it out if you know what the Greek and Latin root of it is. And so this was a class on pretty much memorizing all of the Greek and Latin root words. And it was crazy because there's a lot of them. And yeah, we had to figure them all out. So everything from, oh God, I'm trying to remember some of them now. That you see them every single day. Believe me, you literally see them every single day. Like hydro, hypo, hyper. What else? Oh man, there are tons of them. Petty or ped, man, manu, scribe, script, graph, like, you know, a topography, like when you know the roots and you can figure it out, it's pretty cool. Phono, bio, and they make up so many of the words that we actually use in English. It was actually a hard class. It was much harder than I thought it was going to be, but it turned out to be extremely useful. This is the kind of thing that, folks, get your kids learning these words, because as they traverse through the world, they don't know. Thank you, Damien. They might not know what the word means, but they can figure it out. Aggravate, perfect example. So yeah. Yep, Karen got it. That's right. Physiotherapist, psychology. You see how they all have very similar, you know, there's PODI, yeah, PODI, podiatrists. Yeah, very, very useful. So when kids know them, they can look at a word and go, at least I know it has something. Maybe they don't know the exact meaning, but like how I knew, okay, that has something to do with agriculture, right? And then we had to see specifically. And that one was kind of easy because agro and then IST is normally the science of or the person who actually does it, right? So podiatrists, a physicist, you know, they all kind of, you got the first and the last bit, you can figure it out. So check it out, folks. It's a thing. Greek and Latin root words. They've got lots of little worksheets and stuff online that you can give to your kids. When they go to university, honey child, they start seeing all these big words. They're going to be like, I know what that word means because my mama's been educating me. All right. Thank you. So what are we talking about today? Can't be a damn Jamaican apple or English class. Woo, honey child. Y'all so ridiculous. Agronomist. Thank you, phonetically. I appreciate that. Agronomist. That's how you pronounce it. All right, Nosa, y'all gone crazy, honey child. Who brought Tahiti apples to Jamaica? In 1793, Captain William, Bligh, was commissioned to procure edible fruits from the Pacific Islands for Jamaica, including this species. Really? He brought back this one from Tahiti, and it's called Tahiti at the time. You see where the name comes from? Thank you, A student. You get an A+ for today. A+ for you. Okay, good. Now we know what the correct pronunciation is because of exactly where it came from all the way back in 1793. You take that, honey child. You hear me? I said 1793 because that's how Caymanians pronounce 3. Can I tell you how bad Caymanians are sometimes at pronouncing certain things? When I first went to the States, a wee bit of 9 years old, my aunt had such a warm time with me pronouncing certain words because I was a Caymanian from Georgetown, honey jail. So the one word that I struggled with for a really, really long time, you know, she's like, no, this is how you pronounce it. I was like, I don't know nothing about that. Alcohol, like rubbing alcohol or drinking alcohol. I used to say alcohol. And she would be like, no, Sandy, it's not no alcohol. It's alcohol. And I'm like, can I get some rubbing alcohol, please? I'm trying to remember what else I struggled with. All right, this person, like, they don't want that. They want to get into some political stuff. I know what they want. Tahiti. Why didn't they just spell it like Tahiti instead of confusing us? Sure, they spell it differently. It's spelled Otaheite. That must have been a Jamaican that respelled it. They're going to mix it all up. All right. The apple is in season during August and September in Jamaica. Say what? So why are we getting a crop in January and February? You can easily purchase Tahiti apples, now that I know what it is, from numerous street vendors selling the fruit. During May and June, the tree is flush with beautiful pink blossoms. I haven't actually noticed it blossoming, but I need to pay attention. So anyway, the point of me telling y'all all this protracted story was I've got the seeds. If you ask for a seed, Miss Debbie, please link me today because I got it drive around in my car and I don't like to be driving around with stuff. After today, them seeds gonna be given to somebody else. So just get to me. All right. Yes, we pronounce V and W. I think, is that mostly West Bayers that do that though? Where they want to pronounce the V as a W? Instead of saying vomit, they say vomit. I don't know that that's all. I think that's mostly a West Bay thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong. All right. Akil wants some Tahiti apples in North Carolina. Do they not grow in the States? I mean, I would think maybe not North Carolina though. Like Florida can grow a lot of the tropical fruits that we have in the Caribbean. So lots of the mango trees and stuff can flourish in Florida. North Carolina, y'all can have proper seasonal changes. So maybe not. Maybe in the summer? All right, let's talk politics. Anthony's like, yeah, Roy Dell has declared. Where is he running? I don't even know. Some of these people I legitimately have never heard of in my life. I saw one yesterday. I forget where he's running, actually. I've never even heard of this man. I'm like, who the heck is he? No clue. The list, people are starting to come out though now, okay? This person says, you and I have so much in common. Love to give, learn, and make people happy. Don't like jail because our body not made for that. Laughing out loud. Righteousness. What you're doing, if I wasn't sick, I would be doing. Still trying to do my part when I can because I'm a disciple of the Lord. When you was at Breadfruit School, aka Ms. Gleeta's, you didn't talk much, as I remember. And I remember you in that white dress. You're in the picture. What picture? You remember me from Ms. Gleeta's? Really? Wow. Now that was a throwback moment. Long time ago. Wow. All right. Let's move on. On a separate note, says this person, if you have any extra C's, I'd appreciate some. Thanks so much in advance. Well, you better get one. Okay, let's move on. Politics. It's starting to heat up now, honey child. El Ray says all Caymanians say V for W. Lavana, good morning. She said, nope, towners do it too. All right. Oh, my eloquent request was for the fruit, not the seed. Oh, I'll see if we have any left. All right. I heard the commissioner pronouncing TH with a T sound during the COVID briefings, and I was quite surprised. Oh, you mean the English commissioner? Maybe that's where we get so much of our confusion from, because we're mixed with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Honey child. All right. Politics. Let's move on. A couple new candidates dropped this week. And some of them I'm surprised at, I'll be honest. So the, hold on, I'm always forgetting the name of their party. The Cayman Islands National Party. I'm going to get that. CINP. They have added, I think, one more person to their slate. Hold on, let me check now. Dawn Smith, I think is her name, from Vine and Tap. That one surprised me. I must tell you, I did not see that one coming, not at all. Okay. They spent a lot of time, I saw one of their videos, they spent a lot of time and energy on getting videos done. They've got DJ Kevon working with them, and they seem to want to be like the high-tech party for sure. So that is very, very interesting. And so he's got all the video equipment, and you get like a behind-the-scenes picture, and they've done this really nice video put together showing Tony. What is Tony's last name again? I can't remember Tony's last name, but anyway, the AV guy, like doing all sorts of stuff. And I mean, look, it looks pretty. They say their slogan is hope, prosperity, and unity. And they've got a really nice video put together, and I think they're trying to push out some of their video content. A lot of you probably haven't seen it yet, but I suppose they're getting there. So they have Dawn Smith, I believe is her last name. She is the last person to come on board. Dan Scott has done like a sitting interview, which again, interesting. They're starting to have some meetings. So last night, Miss Sabrina had her yard meeting. Ralston is having a yard meeting, I think this weekend. Okay. Who else do they have? Who else came up for them this week? Dawn, and who else? I think she's the latest one for sure. So TCCP, I don't think they had any announcements this week of new candidates, but they have, I think maybe some coming soon. I'm not quite sure how soon that will happen. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's strengths and weaknesses to all of the groups. I mean, obviously PPM is there. Some of the incumbents, Kenneth, talking about potentially joining PPM. I think he will, to be honest. Jay is probably going to be an independent long ranger, but then, you know, chances are he already knows who he'll work with if they get enough votes. But a lot of people are like, listen, if this party only gets 3 people, they're sitting on the back bench. I mean, good luck to you kind of vibe. You know what I mean? 6 people dropped out. That means that there's definitely room for some newcomers potentially to grab those seats for sure. And I think if you've ran before and you've been unsuccessful, this would be the time for you to run. Let's be honest, just talking strategy here. This is the time for you to get in. I'm just saying. What? That's not what I heard. Oh, wow. You see, the switching up and stuff at the last minute, I'm not always totally aware of. And so that one, let me fact check that, because yeah, I heard she was running, but that's not who I heard she was running with. Damn. Let me see here now. That one is different. Let me check my sources, because I do know she was running and she was actually talking to people that she was running with. Wow, that's news to me. I'm gonna have to check on that one, honey child. I'll be back to you. Morning.
Good morning, Sandra. How you doing?
Morning, not too bad. How are you?
Not bad. Trying to deal with all these kitties. Are you coming in or are you staying out? Mama's on the phone. Go ahead. Anyways, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
What
How are you?
To know about my?
Well, we haven't gotten there quite yet.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I know you said now, and then I said so. I'm like, everything is delayed coming to the barack. So anyway, you want? I can call back when you're ready. You tell me.
Yes.
All right, I'll call back. All right, bye.
All right. So, let me. I'm going to verify that one. I can't say that one because I don't think that that's correct in terms of that person where they're running. Okay. All right. So there's a lot of movement, and there are a lot of people who are talking to each other. Someone said to me yesterday that they wanted to come on the show and talk about, you know, what's happening behind the scenes, like how people are talking to each other. And I said, nobody needs to know that, because we already know that. We know how this works. The horse trading has started beforehand with the parties, and people are talking to all parties probably at some point, trying to see how they best align with, you know, individuals. Now, some people are going to sound good. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. And honey child, if you do not have a discerning spirit about you, well, you're going to pick the wrong party. And you won't know that you picked the wrong party until later on, because they're going to show you a good face initially, and then you'll get to figure it out. Let me say this. As someone who's worked from the ground up in a party, all parties have an element of potential dysfunctionality, right? The leadership definitely sets the tone, and then it can trickle down from there. You should be, in my opinion, the party should be from bottom up, where the people try to build it up. and then they choose an appropriate leader. When you have a leader who's like, okay, I'm going to put this party together, and they're going around picking people, but that's how most organizations work. To be fair to them, that's the organizational model that they would have used in corporate Cayman, because that's how most organizations work. Y'all need to read a thing or two. I'm here looking at my books about, leadership in organizations and setting the organizational culture, because the tone should really be done in a very, very different way. But most people are not ready for that level of challenge. And also the challenge is people are themselves. In fact, let me ask Marlon something. Hold on. Because one thing that Marlon and I have in common, y'all might not know this, but you're going to know it today, is he's the only guy I ever met that loves NPR and educational podcasts as much as I do. My goodness. Quite something, to be honest. And he oftentimes, when I get in his car and we're going somewhere, he'll put on a podcast for me to listen to. And he was playing one the other day. We didn't have a whole lot of time to listen to it because we got where we were going pretty quickly. And he started playing when I was like, oh, this one piqued my interest. It sounded so good. I wanted to send it to me because it's relevant to this conversation that I'm having right now. What time is it? 8:35. I bet you he's at work already. He's already thinking. Hold on. Let me see if I can get a hold of hubby, because I know he's not going to be reading his messages. I want to ask him to send this to me this morning, because y'all need to hear this one. It's really, really interesting. And it explains practically everything we need to know about politics. Honey chow. Damien. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Ooh, happy Valentine's Day to you too.
The podcast you were listening to a couple days ago, the one about humans being selfish. Send me that link, please.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks. This podcast, you guys have got to listen to it, because there's certain things that are innately, what's the other word I'd be using with innately? But they're intrinsically human. And that is, Debbie, try and behave. We are selfish at our core. 99% of human beings are about me, I, and not we and not the team. And so it helps as a leader if you know that and you understand how people are, because you have got to facilitate the we and take away the I, the ego, from people. And there are ways that we can do that. But our natural fallback is to be selfish. Self-preservation, I guess, is the name of the game, right? And so way back in the caveman days, we're all coming from, what does 23andMe say? Neanderthals and whatever, so back in those days, it was all about survival of the fittest, and we had to be the fittest in order to ensure generational survival, that your kids could survive. And you see this in nature all the time, right? So if a lion gets a female lioness, is that what she is? Pregnant, and she already has other cubs, he wants to kill her other cubs because he is singularly focused instinctively on ensuring his lineage. You understand what I'm saying? Damien talking about, did you eat part of the dictionary for breakfast? But you guys know what I'm saying. This is Mother Nature at work. And so we are selfish. Human beings are selfish, innately selfish. Yes. So we have to work hard to not be selfish. And boy, for some of you, That's a lot of hard work. I mean, trust me, Gabby, can y'all please behave? That was really, really difficult to not be selfish, especially when you're not getting anything back. When you think about it, most of the things that you're involved in or you give, you're getting something back from it. And that's why you do it. Okay. You know, you work in the community. Most of y'all work in the community because you like to get a little bit of, recognition, a pat on the back. It makes you feel good. Sheldon says, can you please give my friend Kevlin a shout out? Is it his birthday or just for Valentine's Day? So, organizational leaders have got to understand, as a leader, how you go in and you set the tone for people to try to work cohesively as a team and not be going in a million different directions. That's a leadership skill in and of itself. Yeah. So someone shared something with me, which I thought was very, very interesting, where they are working with one of these organizations. I'm not going to say which one. And they said, Sandy, we need to talk. And I said, we sure do. They said, it's like they're not working together. They're not united. It's like they're working against each other. And I thought to myself, I shouldn't be surprised. Not at all. Because that's how most people are. So, we have to consciously and make every single effort to work and to focus on how we can be guided by our team principles and working for the betterment of the team. I must say that the one thing that the one man, one vote does is it really forces you to think singularly as a candidate, even when you're part of a team, because guess what? When I go in that booth, right, for Bordentown, where my Bordentown West, I'm only voting for one person. I'm no longer voting for four. So I'm no longer thinking about the team. So this is what the parties have to understand. I tell the candidates this all the time. When they come to me, now some candidates are part of a team. The team isn't doing any advertising, but they're like, to hell with the team. We know Sandy is the place to go. We're going to advertise with her regardless of what the team's doing. They're smart. They're smart. And they're coming to me. And I'm like, you understand the game. When I go in that booth, I get one vote. Okay? So you are going to find that teams might look good, they might look polished, all this kind of stuff, and they're not going to get the votes that they're thinking. They're not going to carry any government because, in fact, they're only going to get 3 at best. All right? And it is what it is. Why? Well, a lot of you, simply put, don't know who the heck these people are. You just don't know who they are. You've never seen them before. You've never heard of them before. They've never been involved in the community. You can't jump up a few months. And some of y'all are making the mistake of, our candidates are busy planning behind the scenes. Well, what are you doing so much behind the scenes for? We need you in front of the people. The people who'll be voting for you need to know who you are. Now, I feel like I'm relatively well-informed, sort of. And I'm not really good at names. So it's entirely possible that I may not know a name. But if I see a face, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen him before. I've seen her before in the community. And then I see these people come forward. I'm like, who the heck is this? Who's this person? Who's that person? And the few that I know them for all the wrong reasons. Y'all know, I hate to tell you, but you ain't getting elected. There's one or two of you that people know who you are because you've ran a couple times now, you've been at it, but people don't like you. Oh my God, Sandy, what you saying? Yes, you're not likable enough. Sorry. It is what it is. Let me see if you can understand it, if you can get it. When people vote for you, it really is a popularity contest to some extent. You have to be likable. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are when it comes down to it. Everything else will be secondary. You can be the smartest person in the room. You can have the most professional experience, right? So you got it all, honey child, educated. Maybe you can speak, maybe you can't speak. But what I'm telling you, folks, is what really matters is if people like you. Are you a likable individual? I'm going to say, in fact, that likability is the single most popular trait for a politician. That's why you hear him talking about, oh, well, he's charismatic. Charismatic, folks, is a fancy word. I'm just moisturizing. Don't pay me any mind. Is a fancy word for, is this person likable? They have a charismatic personality. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. It's like businesses. You don't support businesses if you don't like the people behind them. Take, for example, that beautiful Tesla. What did it say? The US government is going to spend over $400 million. Was it million or billion? I hope to God it ain't billion. Buying Tesla's armored vehicles from that man, Elon Musk. I like a Tesla. They're very, very high-tech cars. I love how they have taken technology and integrated it into the entire vehicle. I do think, aesthetically they're fine and whatever. But the technology is what I love about those vehicles. Marlon drives a Tesla. Do you think I'd ever buy a Tesla again? You probably couldn't give me one after this because I now know too much about Elon Musk and I don't like him. Okay. Mind you, I'm still going to be using his Starlink as my ultimate backup if anything goes down. That's not a necessity. But it's not a situation where you tend to buy things from people you don't like. Quite the opposite is true. And that is also true of voting for people. So you don't like them, you ain't going to vote for them. All right. So likability is important. A lot of people are not likable for different reasons. So you ever notice the attack campaigns? Nah, he's not running. You ever notice the attack campaigns about a candidate tend to like, oh, this person, they act like they're too stuck up and they're too this. That's because they're trying to make them unlikable. They're trying to ensure that you, the voter, thinks that, oh, this person is not even relatable. Right? And if you don't find them relatable, chances are you are not going to like them either. And you're not going to want to, well, they don't, he's in a different stratosphere. He's too rich. He's living in the big house on the hill and the mansion in the gated community. So, he can't relate to us. So therefore, we're not going to, we can't flex with him. It is very, very interesting. Now, what I also find very, very interesting is people will try that with certain candidates, but it doesn't work because they've been around long enough where people know the real them. I'll give you a perfect example. Take, for example, Wayne Patton. A lot of people are trying to say, oh, Wayne is so stuck up. Wayne is still this and da-da-da-da. Here's the funny thing about it. It couldn't be further from the truth. He is so down to earth that the dude, he did not even want a driver as premier. Like, that's not him. He was driving the driver all the time. And I'd be like, why is the driver in the passenger seat? He's like, oh no, I'm driving him. And the two of them had such a good vibe going. He's a dude that's going to come and take you fishing and go hang out with his grand uncle and just sit on a porch and have something to eat. Or, he has a very people know that, okay, he was a lawyer and he was a partner in this big time law firm, but his personality, you would just think that he's just an average guy. When you see him not having to put on, you know, a shirt and tie, the dude just walk around in shoes and slippers. And, you know, I got a real sense of his personality, I'll tell you, not just over the years that I've known him, but when he when he sits down and has conversations with you, you get a real sense of his personality anyway. But after one storm, a couple of years ago, we were driving through Newlands and he was checking on people. And I said, let me come with you and, you know, let me drive around and whatever. He knew everything down in Newlands. Oh, this one lived down in this yard, and you see this area here, this is flooding because of this, and you see that tree, that's a so-and-so tree. And I mean, he was so knowledgeable about trees and the environment and fish and this and that. And I was like, oh my God. But very, very sort of a down-to-earth, low-key person. And I say that's why I think, you know, it's sort of like a lot of people are surprised to know, you know, yes, he was a professional lawyer and he has done well in business for himself, et cetera, et cetera. Some people are trying to be likable, but they're not there because you can't pretend. So here's the thing, right? Election time is here. We got a lot of pretenders around the world and around the island trying to pretend and be something that they're not. Some are trying to pretend to be smart when they're simply not smart. Some are trying to pretend to be informed and trying to be professional, whatever, and they're really not. And so it's interesting because people who know them sitting here shaking their head and we're like, honey child, Cayman is a little bit too small for that. But they can try a thing for the voters that don't know them. And you can't pretend forever. You are who you are, you know, so now you want to have parties and you want to sponsor stuff for the community, invite people out. And the question is, oh, really? If you were really that kind of person, we would have known it a long, 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 long time ago. So I'm just saying, that's not True Hill Construction. I don't know where you got that information from about the order for those Teslas was done by Biden. Oh, y'all need to check your sources, okay? This is a new situation. There was no Tesla armored vehicles when Biden was in. That was not on the table any at all. Now, the State Department has corrected it because Tesla, you know, Elon Musk, he's like, what's his name? Always lying. So the State Department has said that Tesla wasn't awarded the $400 million contract, despite what Elon Musk people were saying. What a mess. So what happened, I'm not going down this rabbit hole with you, but I'll put the comment here, Hill, for you to read it. Nobody ordered them yet, apparently, but of course, Tesla is probably trying to push that. So it was some independent publication called Drop Site News that reported on the budget document Wednesday, setting off a wave of speculation and scrutiny that Trump had ordered it. All right. There you go. Fact check it, honey chow. So I think that there are, people will judge you based on your likability for sure. It is one of the reasons why you find a lot of people who are interested in political office wanting to have a talk show. And I do fully understand why they do that, because they want to come across as understanding your plight and they want to come across as likable. Sometimes they miss the fundamental bit that your personality determines whether you're likable or not. Whether you have a talk show may or may not be relevant, because if you're not likable, that comes across as well. By the way, big shout out to Austin and Elio. They have a reboot talk show. If you don't find Elio likable, it doesn't matter if he's on the talk show every single day. I'm just saying. Allow me to sip on my tea at this pertinent time. So a lot of you have made the mistake of seeing someone on a talk show and they talk about potential things in the community, and they're in your car every morning on the drive to work or in the evening drive, and you're listening. Yeah, I feel like I know them. I feel like I know Sandy. I want to vote for her. No, you don't, honey chat. You got to do your homework. Put Sandy to the test. Look at her work ethic. Look at her ability to solve problems. And the only way you can know these things is by past experience. Now, Alden made some comments, and I saw that apparently I didn't see I haven't watched it, to be honest. I think somebody sent it to me, but I haven't really watched it. That the leader of the Cayman Islands National Party responded to Alden because he felt like he was taking a dig at him, essentially when he said, be careful and not elect inexperienced people. Well, there's two sides to this. I mean, I do agree with Alden in the sense that people should be coming with some experience in life. It might not be in the world of politics, but show me their business experience or community experience. There's other ways that you can kind of get an idea if someone may be a good fit in politics. Now, one of my concerns is that people who only know the world of business, when they get into the political arena, there are a lot of nuances to that situation that they're not going to understand, because it is baptism. Hold on, let me get it right now. It's fire. It's baptism by fire. That's the right way to say it, right? I always reverse my little sayings sometimes. But anyway, baptism by fire. So you got to be in politics to really understand the dirty, nasty game that politics is. And what people say and how they say it. And I see how naive you guys are. Let me give you an example of how naive people are. Where's little Amber Hides this morning? Amber, are you listening to the show? I want to address her because she was the singular person a few days ago who was in the chat defending Chris Saunders, saying that, oh, she knows what it feels like. And that was funny because I don't think she even understood the game that Chris Saunders was playing. So he, as you guys know, threatened, I think is a threat to the people of Cayman Islands, because I don't know specifically who the heck he was talking to. But he said things and provided not a shred of evidence, number one. So I find it difficult to even believe him. So he said, oh, my mother has ended up in the hospital before. When? What caused her to be in the hospital? We don't know. We don't even know if that's true. She's an older woman. Older people, 70 plus, chances are you're going to end up in the hospital. What does that have to do with anything? Right? So first of all, the veracity of what he said is questionable. The truthfulness, in other words, of what he said is questionable. He didn't provide any information about that. We've never heard of this before. No one has said anything to his mom. You know what happens if you are sensitive to certain things like politics? You stay far and wide. Okay? Because if you don't have thick skin, this ain't the game for you, honey child. Step out of the political arena. And I'm going to get to that with this latest lawsuit and what my thoughts are. It's not a lawsuit yet. It's a threat to sue Carrie Tibbetts Whitaker. And we're going to talk about that. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for people who don't want people to dig up what you did 50 years ago. So if you did something 50 years ago, honey child, left your wife and abandoned the kids, or left somebody at the altar, this, that, these are all the things that they're going to dig up about you. This is, the world of politics is dirty as it comes. They're going to make up stuff on who you've been sleeping with. If they're not got nothing, they're going to make it up. Oh, you slept with a married man 20 years ago. And you're like, okay. Am I still sleeping with a married man now, honey? Chill. They don't care. It's all fair game because they're trying to undermine you and who you are. They even dig into multiple generations, honey. They're like, oh no, her mama was a town bicycle. This is what they're going to say. Now, you could have been the Virgin Mary, although your mama might have been the town bicycle, and they still out there talking it because they want to undermine you. Judge her by her parents. Judge her by where she come from. She not nobody. Right? Or she didn't take care of her mama. Or she said a bad word to her mama. We want you to judge her based on that. It all comes out, you know. Trust me, I hear enough of it. And I'm just like, whoo. I be trying to clutch my pearls. I'm like, oh my God. So this is the game. And if you ain't ready for it, let me tell you something. The rumors are flying. Oh, he beat his wife, or he put his hands on her. He cheating on her 24/7. He was sleeping with all his coworkers. We all know that. Everything you ever did come into the forefront. You don't want your business out there like that? Don't run for politics. This is the best advice I can give you. Don't do it. You won't be doing yourself any favors, eh? Yeah. You can't control the narrative. What I do, and I'm not running for politics, but you know, they even coming at me because they feel like I'm a threat to their political agenda and who is going to vote them in and whatever. So, you know, they bring out all sorts of stuff at me. I just address it head on, honey child. I ain't got nothing to hide. You know? I mean, if you're really that concerned about who I was sleeping with 15, 20 years ago, and I'm not even running for politics, y'all might need something else to do. Okay? I'm just saying, but they're going there. And I'm like, bring it on. You want to have the conversation? We can go there. This is what it is. Wannabe politicians, you candidates, come now. Grow your thick skin. Election day is April the 30th. You don't have much time. You need to get out there. It is going to be a sink or swim situation. And unfortunately, for most of you, you will not be successful for a variety of different reasons. The other thing Amber fell for when it came to Chris, not only did he not give any details on what he claims stressed out his mother, but I question even his authenticity of what he's saying now. Because if you care to protect your mom from the world of politics, you would not have her working in a political position as your political office manager. To me, that singular thing speaks volumes. That don't make no sense. Except that you're trying to ensure that she gets $4,500 a month from government and you don't have to pay to support her. That is being done on the backside of the people of the Cayman Islands. But when you listen carefully to what Chris Saunders said, it almost sounded to me that if he didn't get reelected and that upset his mother, that we're going to have hell to pay and he's going to go around harming people. And he is so incredibly smart that he's going to get away with it. It's like, really, dude? That's interesting. That is very hell of it interesting. Very, very interesting. What's going to upset her? The stories that are circulating about you being fired as deputy premier, which were 100% true. Still waiting on that FOI, by the way. Once I get that, we'll put that out in the public domain. So if somebody gets upset by the truth, we're supposed to think that it's okay for you to go out there and commit crimes against people as a result of that? Come on now. Jasine or Jasan? How do you pronounce your first name? Ebank says, but you do the same judging. Of course I do. Didn't I just tell you that it's going to happen? And that's what people do? And that's what we do here too. I'm not saying we're not doing it. Now, perhaps what we do a little bit differently is we try to fact check what's going on, right? So when I tell you, for example, that, what's the one for Savannah called? What's his name again? Let me see here now. Josh. When I tell you the stories about Josh laying hands on women, Jasan, that's not judging. Those are facts. I am speaking from a factually informed position. That is why the good company of Flo said to him after the second time he did it with his coworker he was having an affair with, they said, you got to go. The first time you put hands on her, we gave you a bly because you're actually a really good worker. We liked you. You were good at sales. And we told y'all, don't make it happen again, not at the workplace. The second time you dragged her, they said, please submit your resignation letter and get out the front door. There's not no hearsay. Talk to people who work Flo, who are in the know. Okay? So it's not about judging. We judge, but I'm giving y'all facts. When I give you facts, you can determine whether for you that is important or not. Do you care that a candidate is the type of person who beats women and children? Some of you don't care, and that's a sad indictment on you, but some of you do not care. Y'all don't care about nothing like that because you're in the business of doing it yourself. Do you care that a man has been accused multiple times by all sorts of different women of sexually assaulting them when they're intoxicated? And at the very minimum, he has accepted in a court of law that a sexual act transpired between him and a total stranger in a taxi cab, except he says she wanted it and I'm the victim. I only bringing you the facts. Mm-hmm. All right. So you got to thicken up your skin, and let's look at this letter now that Carrie Tibbetts received, I guess yesterday. What's the date on the letter? February the 12th, 2 days ago. She probably got it yesterday. I don't know if they hand delivered it or what, but she received a letter from Dan Scott about some of the things that she's been saying. Obviously, she's not a fan, and I think she's made that clear even here on this program. And then he sends her this letter. And I tell you what, like I said, the election season is here and things are getting crazy now. And I see it. Nola and Carrie fighting. Carrie and this one fighting. Nola and Romelia getting into it down Windsor Park. Y'all are all over the place with the messiness, calling the police on each other, warning each other, blocking each other on social media, blocking each other on WhatsApp. Let me tell you something. There's not a single one of these politicians that is worth losing any real friends over. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Please, by all means, don't do it. Big shout out to the 500 people on social right now listening to the show. We got 484 over here, and Instagram got some numbers over there so as well. 486. Look at that. Gone up by 2. So, letter before action, libelous videos posted on Facebook. Libelous has 2 L's in it? Oh. I thought it would have been 1 L. That's interesting. Libel us. Let me see. No, it's actually spelled with 2 L's. What do you know? Okay. We write on behalf of Mr. Layman Daniel Scott. We've obtained 5 videos. Y'all got time to be going and sitting there watching her videos, to be honest. Y'all better be at the campaigning. We have obtained 5 videos that you posted on Facebook between January the 27th and the 10th of February, 2025, in which you engage in a smear campaign against Mr. Scott, amongst others, and make numerous defamatory statements about Mr. Scott and others, which we address in the following detail below. The purpose of this letter is to request that you, number 1, remove those videos from Facebook. Number 2, undertake to Mr. Scott that you will refrain from making any further defamatory statements about him, including in respect of any matter in which he has been or is said to have been involved, and from which a reasonable viewer would infer that reference is being made to him implicitly either, oh Lord, I hate how these lawyers write, on a permanent basis, thus obviating the need for Mr. Scott to seek any injunctive relief against you, or if you intend to contest the appropriateness of such injunctive relief pending the outcome of an inter-parties hearing of an application by Mr. Scott for such injunctive relief, which application will be issued forthwith. Oh, Jesus. Who at Applebee's wrote this letter? And make a public apology to Mr. Scott in the terms set out further below. I love when they tell you how to apologize. To be published by way of a further video to be posted to the same Facebook pages on which you published the 5 above mentioned videos containing the defamatory statements detailed below. We require your confirmation that you have complied with the requests at A above and, wow, this is one sentence, no, sir. Y'all need writing class, yo. Trying to sound like a lawyer. And that you give the undertaking, then they even have a little subnote up there, a little reference, requested at B above, including whether the undertaking is given on a permanent basis or pending the outcome of an inter-parties hearing forthwith, and in any event, by no later than 9 a.m. on Thursday, February 13, 2025. Failing this, Mr. Scott will be left with no real choice but to apply to the court urgently, ex parte, on notice to you, seeking injunctive relief on such terms. Now, I know y'all listening to this, you're like, what the hell, Sandy, what are you reading? So in other words, let me break it down for y'all because this legalese is ridiculous. They're saying, take down the 5 videos that they find offensive or what they claim is defamatory, and don't post anything else ever. That's what it means when we're talking about permanent. And we want you to issue an apology video. And so you have 2 choices. Choice number 1 is to remove all the videos, give him an undertaking that you're not going to do anymore and that you're going to issue the apology on a permanent basis. Otherwise, we're going to take you to court. So inter-parties hearing can be done where, they'll call her and she'll have to come and before the judge. The judge will decide whether or not this is of such important situation, or an ex parte hearing on notice to you. So in other words, an ex parte hearing is where they'll say, this is so urgent, we need to come now. She doesn't need to be here. We will come and put forward her case, and then we'll tell her that we're doing it, but it's ex parte, so she wouldn't be there. So they're requesting the apology. She was supposed to respond by yesterday morning at 9 o'clock. Then they were saying that they needed the apology to be posted on Facebook no later than 1 p.m. on Thursday. So that would have been yesterday. I don't think that's happened. And that she needed to confirm when providing the confirmation requested above that you will also comply with this request. The apology is requested without prejudice to Mr. Scott's rights to seek any further relief, which may be appropriate. However, absent such an apology, we anticipate that Mr. Scott will have little option but to seek further appropriate relief against you to address the damaging effects of your defamatory statement. Then they go on and provide her a legal definition according to this textbook, the 24th edition, of what defamation is and what libel is. And then they go on to draw her attention to the specific statements. I'm not going to show you what the specific statements are, but let me read them. I haven't read it yet, so let me do that on my own just for a quick second here. I'm going to do a quick review. Okay. One is, okay. 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 Remember the messenger. Yes. Okay. I don't know that this is defamation, I mean, don't, I'm no lawyer, but I've been sued a couple times. So I know a thing or two about the definition of defamation. Well, y'all, I wouldn't bother with this, Dan Scott, if I were you. I mean, they say every allegation is false and highly defamatory. Well, listen, this is an election season. Candidates, pay attention. Once you have declared yourself as a candidate, you don't have the same protections when it comes to defamation and libel as other people do. Okay, go read up on it. There is a specific area of defamation, my apologies. When it comes to, it's not to say it's impossible, but there's much more leeway when you are in a political arena, because people will say things about you that's their opinion. Okay? So, I don't know. As a good lawyer would say that there's a difference between a technical right to bring a claim for defamation and whether or not it makes good sense to do so. Okay? There's lots of defenses. And it is fair to say that when it comes to politicians, the courts have accepted that there is greater leeway that is often given. I don't know. I kind of feel like I wouldn't have bothered with this, not as a candidate. It sends a message, and I don't think the message is what you're trying to send, that you're trying to control the narrative about what people say about you. You know how you control that narrative? You just get out there and address it. Get out there and clarify the record. She said stuff about you sitting on the Legal and Judiciary Council, about the last time you guys sued her with all the big wigs, Maples, E&Y, and whatever, in relation to an FOI document that she had obtained. And that document was subverted in the sense that, she couldn't publish it. She had to take it down. And, the general sense, obviously her position, and Carrie, you're free to call in and tell us in your own words, her position is that, listen, they don't want you to see this information because it makes them look bad. And I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did make them look bad in relation to work permits and salaries and so on. I think that all politicians should fight for a person's, well, in the United States of America, it's a First Amendment right. Here it's in our Constitution, Bill of Rights, right? Freedom of speech and freedom of the press is so highly safeguarded by the courts. And this is the very same thing that I myself will be before the Court of Appeals. Unfortunately, it's happening after the election in May, but they're going to set down the law as it relates to freedom of speech in this country. And to some extent, I wasn't charged with defamation because what I said wasn't defamatory about Matthew Leslie, but that's because he didn't have a defamatory case. He ran and tried to make it a criminal case, and the DPP played game with that. They're going to have that overturned, right? So your freedom of speech, it comes with responsibilities, no doubt about that. But there is also a right.
Well, good morning.
Hold on. There's also a right for people to safeguard that as much as possible, right? That is, I mean, in some countries, it is a right that people will die for. And so if I were a candidate, I would address any things that come up, but I would not engage a lawyer and to be seen to be trying to silence people. And caller, I'm coming to you, but one of the interesting things about this is that there were rumors circulating certain political parties, even before they announced and before they came out, that the one thing they were telling potential candidates as a selling point is that Sandy Hill on the Cold Hard Truth will not be able to go after you because we've set up a legal fund to address her. And what was the word that they use? Oh God, there's a specific word that they use to basically shut me down kind of vibe. That wasn't the exact word, but that's what they meant. If I said something about their candidates, y'all are crazy if you think that is going to bide well or bode well with the people of the Cayman Islands and voting for you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. It's Debbie.
Hey, Debbie. Morning.
I think this is I think it's the perfect time for me to ask a question and make a comment.
Yes.
And I certainly hope my comment is not, would not be cause for a lawsuit, because this is a question and it is my personal opinion and I have a comment. And I do agree with you with the freedom of speech. And I think that it looks really bad to use that to silence her. I think it looks very vindictive, but that being said, that's my opinion. So I have a question for Mr. Scott. This is a question. I don't know if he's listening. I don't know if any of his supporters are listening or any of his candidates are listening. On Instagram, he has posted where he is, declaring his candidacy. Is it Cayman Brac East, I think?
Yes.
Anyway, I don't have Instagram. It was sent to me. And on his portfolio, ironically, there is a picture of the protest that happened 2 weeks ago regarding the Guantanamo Bay cage. And there's a picture. I'll tell you who the picture is. It's of Alejandro with the protest holding up. I find that very, very ironic. I find it actually a bit hypocritical. So I am posing this question openly this morning to Mr. Scott. Do you, in fact, support what Caymanians stood up for, and the fact that we have been oppressed for so long and we are not going to continue to put up with people referring to us as riffraff? Do you support that? Or do you support your North candidate's stance on the matter? Who? And I can openly say this because it happened to a person who happens to be extremely close and dear to me and very dear to my heart. Comments were made in their committee that this person has since resigned. In fact, they resigned immediately after the fact by the committee members of his candidate from West Northwest the week after the protest, that the protest was very, very embarrassing, unnecessary. It should never have happened, that we need to protect new Caymanians, and also by the candidate himself, that we were on the looking for attention. Many more very negative comments were made.
Back up, Debbie, back up. You said this is someone who is running in West Bay.
West Bay North candidate for, I think,
CINP?
Pardon, for Dan Scott's party. He's running under Dan Scott's party.
For West Bay North. And he resigned from where?
No.
Oh.
The person very near and dear to my heart.
Is on his committee.
On the committee very briefly. He was asked to come on board.
Okay.
Okay? And after attending the protest, which I'm one of the organizers, these were the sentiments that were expressed to her the night after, or the meeting the week after the protest. And it was very negative. It was very insulting.
Coming from the candidate.
The candidate.
Oh, wow. Okay.
His committee members. And it was directed toward her. So I find it rather ironic if that's how they feel. Why is he putting up a picture of Alejandro with his poster on his, his Instagram? Because something is wrong here. You need to put your candidate and tell him, listen, I have a different thought of my mindset. What you're saying to people isn't
and what did let me ask you to clarify now, because like I said, someone sent me this video, but to be honest, I didn't watch it. The part where he's showing about the protest, what does he say about it? Does he say anything about that?
He doesn't say anything. Well, I don't have Instagram, so obviously it was said to me. In fact, it was said to me by several people who said the irony,
Let me find the video. Okay, I know somebody. I'm trying to remember who said it to me, because somebody sent it to me, but let me see if I can find it.
But it was, as I say, I don't have Instagram. 2 or 3 people sent it to me.
Yeah, I think I have it
the
here.
leader of the party is not endorsing, but using a picture of a person at the protest. Does that mean he endorsed what we did? Because his candidate in West Northwest certainly isn't. So,
interesting.
You know, I would like some clarity on that matter.
Okay.
I find it either very hypocritical, or else he needs to put his candidate from West Northwest to task with his comments regarding the state protest. Obviously, that person resigned immediately and is no longer on the committee.
Okay. What a
and
mess.
I'm not going to call her name, obviously, but you know, read between the lines.
Yep. Okay. Thank you so much.
So that's a question I'm putting out there. Your leader of your party is posting pictures of a protest, but one of your candidates has spoken openly out against it. Not just spoken out against it. He was insulting to one of his committee members that was very short-lived, to the point where they resigned. So if that's exactly how they feel and you feel differently, can someone please come on board and tell me what's really happening? Because I'll give credit where it must be given. He did have another candidate out there, and that was Julie Hunter. She did attend.
Well, I mean, I tell you what, and this is where these parties, you know, I don't know how much they're working as a team, but I'm pretty sure that Julie Hunter didn't call Dan Scott and get his permission, or she probably didn't even tell him that she was coming to that protest. She was driven by her own desires and heart, because Julie Hunter, when we were protesting last time after the general election, she was out there too, huh? Don't forget that. She was one of those out there, because we had even called on her to say a prayer for the good people of the Cayman Islands.
Right.
So I can tell you that she's not doing this just for politics. This is something that she's demonstrated over the years that she's about.
So kudos to her for
it. So
she was there. She's the only other one that I know. But because he does have a candidate in West Northwest who's openly opposed it, who openly criticized the person on the committee, and I say it was very near and dear to my heart. There very briefly, and that ended as quickly as that began. And I find it very hypocritical. And I find it actually, I was incensed at the time, but I calmed myself down. But I want to know if that's how your candidate and his committee members feel about a protest to support Caymanians. That they openly think we should be supporting new Caymanians, and we were on the seeking attention. Then I want to know, why are you endorsing it on Instagram? And if you are, I suggest you have a very serious talk with your candidate from West Northwest, because it has left a very bitter aftertaste in many, many people's mouths.
Thank you, caller.
All right.
And you know, again, as party members, you guys have to be very, very careful, I think, and cautious that you are not out there making your party look bad, as well as yourself, because your actions reflect on them. And if the leadership doesn't say anything or do anything about that, that also reflects poorly on them as well. Good morning, caller. And radio listeners, the show is about to end for you guys, but log on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We got almost 600 people tuned in this morning, so join us. Good morning.
Good morning. I guess it's a good time.
Yes, good morning, honey chow. Because now you don't, in about 30 more seconds, you don't have to watch your mouth in terms, but don't go wild with it, because you know the old people, they be getting their panties in a bunch, so they're like, "Oh, Sunday, no cursing, please." So we gonna make it clean for everybody to listen.
We gonna make it clean today, but we gonna make it real and honest, and that's what seems to be most threat to some of these wannabe politicians running in elections in our country. They don't like to hear the truth. They don't like to hear anybody talk about on earth anything that they have done to a person. By the way, for your listeners, this is Carrie Gibbet from the Bluff and the Brat. I didn't get that letter until, what was it, 6 o'clock?
How did they get it to you, by the way?
Yesterday.
Because I know you're in the Bronx. So how did they get it to you? Did they fax it, email it?
Yeah, well, no, they delivered it. Raymond Scott came and brought it and said he didn't know what it was. It was just an envelope with my name on it.
Okay.
Just said Carrie Tibbetts on it. And he said Anna Rose Scott gave it to him to bring to me.
Oh,
of
Lord.
course.
They played
deep in all of
they
it.
played telephone, Chinese telephone with a letter. I mean, they could have just emailed it to you, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
I think that counts as legal service these days. That's kind of weird. Okay. So they had it hand delivered through multiple people to you. And then it came late. So the things that they requested, the things that they requested in it, you couldn't really do even if you wanted to. So that's interesting.
Oh, exactly. That's usually how they operate these things when they're trying to get you. I know that this letter is basically to scare me or to make me feel like I need to run. In 2015, it would have scared me then, but I grew so much leather skin since that time that it's going to be really hard to crack through this leather skin of mine with anything.
Yeah,
and I'm sure you feel the same way too.
Well, you know, this is one of the reasons why I fight the way in which I do. Yes, it's for me to keep, my name clean and clear, but it's also for other people to show you that just because somebody can outspend you and they have all the legal expertise at their hands doesn't mean that you have to kowtow to them.
Exactly.
You stand your ground and take them to task, make them take you to court, as far as I'm concerned, and fight with everything that you have. Because let me be clear now. I haven't watched your videos because I think you actually have me blocked on Facebook, your page.
No, I don't have you blocked. We all blocked each other.
Well, I can't find your page. So I don't know why I can't find it. No, I can't.
You're not blocked on any of my pages. I unblocked you all of them, but I'll check again. But you were unblocked.
I can't because when somebody sent me the link, I couldn't find it, and I'm like, what is this? And then they had to send me a screen grab or whatever. But anyway, listen.
Oh.
The bottom line is I've read in the letter what he's alleging you've said about him, and those are things that are your opinion. And you're entitled to your opinion. You're not entitled to your facts. And so I suppose it depends on how you said what you said that might be taken to task here, right? You talked about, for example, and it's so interesting. You say that, I'll give you one example, that he purchased any house stuff for people, whether in the form of furniture, appliances, or otherwise. Okay, I don't know if Dan Scott has ever purchased anything for people or not. Depending on how you said that, because they say that that's false and highly defamatory. That may be false. Maybe he's never purchased anything for anybody. He's only purchased for himself. I don't know. But
if you read it further, if you read the letter further, you'll see where they acknowledge that he bought stuff.
So where is the falsehood? What's the issue? Because the implication, are they trying to say that the implication is you're trying to say that was vote buying? Did you tie the two together? Like I'm confused about a lot of what this letter says. For example, Dan Scott has hired a puppet. How many times has that not been said, even about myself? Every single time Mario gets on his show, he claims that I'm a puppet for this one, that one. People get in the comment section. I'm a puppet. I'm on somebody's payroll. I say one of these days I'm walking up to Wayne Pantham, so you better put me on your friggin' payroll because I need some money.
Exactly.
And so put me on the payroll, damn it. They're ready to claim I'm your communications manager. I'm your campaign manager. Give me a job. I'm joking because I'm not looking for a job.
They attack you for studying with the party that's in your district that they're running in your. So
yeah, they make all kind of assumptions that a lot of times are simply not true. They're not correct assumptions. And so I have to explain to people that what is for sale here on the Cold Hard Truth and on CMR is the products that we offer: ad space, show space, show shorts where you can put the videos up on our website. I'm not for
And you're
sale.
not charging either. You're not charging enough. You need to charge them 50,000. But anyways,
Charlie, sometimes tell me, you saw what Sandy charging people? She too expensive. I say, I know my worth. You might not know my
Thank
worth,
you.
but I know my worth. So you don't pay it. You'll be fine.
Them people who say that,
Now,
they
listen,
don't know
Carrie.
their worth. You're
Yeah.
right.
All right, listen, Carrie. Everybody knows sometimes you can get a little hot under the hood. And you know, sometimes you probably, you know, go a little bit too heavy for people who not like that. If they don't have a personality where they can take criticism, they're probably going to respond to you in this kind of way where they want to lawyer up, they want to send across, you know, I do it too. I get a little hot under the hood too. And you and I have had our differences over the years. God knows I've cussed you out, you've cussed me out. I give as much as I can take, you know, I can take it and I can give it too.
Yeah, exactly.
But I kind of feel like when you're in the political arena, it comes with the territory where people are going to be talking about you. They're going to question the things that you've done, the motive for the things that you've done. They're going to be scrutinizing every single aspect of your life. And I don't think it makes sense to be wasting your time sending a letter to Carrie Tibbetts or trying to neutralize, I think that was the word they used, trying to neutralize Sandra Hill. That's why most of these people don't even want to come on this show, because they not got the backbone for it. You have got to have the backbone for politics. This not an easy game. Pull up your big boy panties.
Listen, those candidates that have no backbone, they are not there to represent you, the people. They're there to represent themselves.
Because you know, when them big wigs developers, them expat developers come, if they're not got a backbone to face you, the voters, how they have the backbone to face them? I mean, come on now. Let's talk about the cold hard truth.
And if every time someone challenges something you have done to them, you got to run, get a lawyer and lawyer up. I was surprised it came from Appleby. Maybe all Appleby clients should now move across the street to HSM. I'm just saying. I was surprised he went there when it was Maples. He went with prior, but I guess they can't be bothered anymore. I already named and shamed them enough. My point of this whole thing, Sandra, that FOI, I had people for a long time telling me this. One of them has died now since all of this. Tell me, she said, Carrie, I am up in this place here now. How many years? Several years, like 15 years or something. And she says, people come in here, they bring them in through the other recruitment companies, or they bring them in directly. I have to train them. They have less experience than me. They have less qualifications than me. And then they're making all 2, 3, and 4, up to 6,000 more a month than I'm making. And I was floored. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, are you for real? Tell them you're not training nobody if they can't pay you the same salary that they're paying the person you got trained to do the job you do it. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. You're making a ton of money less. When I look at that whole FOI, when I requested it, I wanted information that would help our people that were oppressed in these big conglomerate companies that were being overworked and underpaid. The companies that they were working for were stealing their salaries because they were paying the expatriate on a work permit a hell of a lot more than they were paying our Caymanians. And that's where that boiled my spirit. That boiled me for a year and a half. I listened to people complain to me. I said, damn it, no, I'm going to do an FOI. And I did the FOI. It was released to me and I started publishing it. I shared it out. My God, I gave it out to enough politicians. They even came to my house and collected my CD with it. So it was a ton of people that, got this information to help them. Then all of a sudden, boom, I get this letter from Maples, saying that I need to cease and desist and remove all of this and blah, blah, blah. They had gone to the court and got a ex-party summons against me. So when people need to understand that ex-party summons means that I have no option of going into that chamber
at that
and
stage.
defending.
Yeah. And let me tell you what normally happens as someone who has gone through the process numerous times myself. What the judges will do when they go and they do an ex parte hearing, right? They're going to ask that the supposed offending material be taken down immediately. And in 99.99999, basically 100% of the time, the judge will actually agree to that. Because in law, if it turns out, there's a chance that it could be defamatory. If it turns out to be defamatory, leaving it up longer adds to the damages that could come. And, you're offending longer, et cetera, and other people get to see it. So the judge, out of an abundance of caution, will say, yes, if this is possibly defamatory, they're going to issue an injunction. So when you hear this letter talk about, emergency injunctive relief, I don't think they said emergency, but injunctive relief, that means that the courts will order you to take down the offending material without a doubt, right? And then you go through the process of, you have your hearings. This could be 6 months to a year later. And you get to the crux of it to see whether defamation has actually been committed or not. Let me give you an example of one of my cases. I won't tell you which one. The person said they were giving up on the lawsuit, and they said, okay, we're going to give up on the lawsuit. Just issue us an apology. Mind you now, nobody said what was originally said at this stage was even defamatory. They had no court that said, yes, this was defamatory. Nothing. But they were like, okay, we're giving up. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers because this man was filthy rich. And he decided to just throw in, and months later, he was just going to give up. I said, okay. I said, no problem. Yeah, okay, I'll write your apology. You send me what you want, because that's what they always do, what they want to say. Not a problem. They don't get $1 from me. I don't get $1 from them. They go back to their corner. I go back to my corner. The first thing his lawyers did, and this is why it's helpful to know a little bit about the law, and every day I'm thankful, praise the Lord, hallelujah, that I got that law degree in my wall, because when they came back and said, okay, we want to settle, they said, we want you to take down everything that you posted about him, even since, like, I covered the court proceedings and whatever. They wanted that to come down. I said, no, Bobo, because then that erases the history. The thing about it is that erases the history of what transpired. And other people, other news media, reported on it. And I said, no, I'm not going to remove those. Because when people Google his name, it comes up that he was suing some poor little CMR person. And I said, no. I said, that is not the subject of the lawsuit. So I'm not going to take those down. That is not on the table. But you see, they thought little Sandy was stupid. And then I'd be like, oh, yes, I'm going to just take everything down so we can settle this. Know your rights and stand up for yourself. And I said, no, sir, that has nothing to do with your current lawsuit. The article that the judge said to take down, I will leave down. That was one article. Since then, I done wrote another 5 about you, and all 5 of them staying out.
Okay.
Now, here's another example. There was another person who sued me early on in CMR history over one word. And I was like, are you kidding me? Well, this looks like I'm politicians, honey child. And I said, okay, again, they settle, like, okay, I don't want to waste any more money on this, blah, 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 blah. I republished the story, and I did it in a completely different way. It had even more details than the first article, and I just did it as a bullet point facts. And then said, out of all of this, questions have been raised about and duh. Exactly. And I bet you they couldn't touch it.
Exactly.
So, all you do is draw more attention to yourself when you start flinging around these lawsuits.
Yeah. Basically, what Dan Scott and this letter has done to his campaign is nailed it shut, the coffin shut, and killed the entire campaign of his. So he dropped his own bomb on himself with this letter. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I do think that this is unfortunate for him. It's not a good look. And I don't know who is politically advising him, but if I were them, I would have said, let Carrie say whatever. Like, who cares? Let her say what she has to say, and you focus on what you need to focus on. If it's something that she says that you think might impact people, then, address it.
Exactly. Like I said, he never once contacted me from the FOI back in 2015. He never once came to me and said, Carrie, can I talk about this? And I'm not an unreasonable person, but I would have said in the ground and said, hey, this is the reason I did it. You have in your organization underpaid right now and doing the job of more than you brought in to do the similar job. They're being underpaid $2,000, $4,000, $6,000. Why don't you correct that in your organization and guarantee me that those people will get that salary paid? Then they're definitely their true salary, not the slave wage that you are making people pay earn in your company for the work they're doing. So that's not fair to our people to do that. And these are good, genuine people that work for you and loyal, and you are taking and abusing them in this way. If you had even come to me and talked to me about it, I would have said, sure. Yes, I'll take it down for you, Dan, but you got to guarantee me that you're going to ensure that those people in your organization get true wages. By now, many of them, Sandra, would have paid off their mortgages. One of them was so stressed out from all of this, she got cancer and died.
Well, I mean,
she was put on there.
So a statement like that, right? You can't say definitively that someone got cancer from stress. I mean, there are lots of things that cause cancer, right? So this is where you probably need to be a little bit more cautious in the things that you say, right? So you can't say she got cancer. Now listen, now this is where I'm giving you some advice. You can't say she got cancer because of the stress she was getting from her job working at this particular company. What you can say, and then listen to how close it is, but it's not the same thing. You can say she was extremely stressed out at her workplace. She expressed to me that she was stressed out at her workplace. And not long after that, she died of cancer. People can link it in their own heads if they want to, but you can't make the connection unless she has a medical report that said your stress was caused by cancer. No doctor is going to be able to say that to you because there's lots of things that contribute to a cancer diagnosis, including stress. Stress will kill you. Stress will give you a heart attack, honey child. We all know that. But you can't say it in the way in which you're saying it because obviously you're not a doctor.
Fine. No, I'm not. And I can't be held against me either. But there is an individual, I can assure you, I know this person very close to me that had to have a hysterectomy because of all the levels of stress they went through while doing their job in a particular one of these big conglomerates as well. I mean, they couldn't even have a child because their entire body was it was a mess. And in their medical report, their doctor stated the level of stress that this individual endured on the job, but also played part and parcel to them having to have a hysterectomy at a young age too, in their 30s. So, early 30s. So I'm just saying our people have been under so much stress in some of these companies. Oh my God. It was years of it. I kept hearing it, and I am still hearing it. And the mere fact that the effect of this, Sandra, this is what really hurt the most. And I'm going to tell your audience now. The thing that hurt me the most about this entire matter was I had just signed a contract with a developer to build 69 units. My commission off of that was $2.5 million, Sandra. That got canceled the minute that lawsuit came out against me because they didn't want their name linked to me. And even they talked to me about it, and I understood. And I'm like, I appreciate this. I don't want to be the one to not get your property sold because you hear got sued by Dan Scott and Ernst & Young, KPMG, Bank Butterfield, and Maple Success, etc., for releasing a FOI that I was granted access to. So that is in saying all of that. I had even set aside $1 million of that money because I knew so many of our people out here was trying to get a place and didn't have a deposit to go to the bank with. I said to myself, well, you know what, Carrie? Take $1 million of this and pay it forward.
All right, we got another caller. Hold on, just hold on the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Hopefully the two of you can have a conversation at not exactly the same time, but I'll keep you both on. Morning, caller.
Hello.
Hi, Johan.
And is Andy?
Yes, sir.
Morning, Johan.
Carrie's still on the line. We're doing a three-way for Valentine's Day. That's been
I
That's been Johan's dream.
I not sign up for no three-way. Drop out a call so I can yell at you properly.
You're terrible.
Go ahead. I was thinking about doing a batch of brownies, so go ahead and yell at me. I want to hear it.
No, you can keep your brownies since you're all into medical Fridays and speculation about who getting sick and who not getting sick. Auntie Sandy, we cannot afford for you to get off the airwaves during the election. So I would humbly suggest that you cease and desist with this discussion, especially some of the speculative and potentially libelous things that are being said.
Oh,
you will then be taken off the. You'll be taken off the airwaves.
Johan,
hold on.
Let him talk. Let him talk. Let him talk, Carrie. Let him talk.
The reason why I'm saying that, Auntie Sandy, is your show is probably the only show that gives us the cold hard truth, for the want of a better phrase. And if you aren't in operation during this critical election campaign cycle, where will the people get the
cold hard truth?
Grimy, the cold hard truth? So all I'm saying is, whatever.
So who's gonna shut her down, Johan? Who's gonna shut her down for having a voice for the people? Who's going to do that?
I think that any vehicle that is used to facilitate potentially libelous and slanderous.
And you see, this is why, let me say this to you, Johan, this is precisely why, and I'm so glad you brought this up, but this is precisely why 2025 not passing me without CMR having our own CMR radio station. Because I will not be controlled by anyone, right, for doing the job that I do outside, and I'm controlled by the law. That's who I'm controlled by. What I will not be controlled by is individuals who are trying to control the narrative in this country. So Johan makes a fair point, because there are a lot of those individuals. OFREG is not in the business of controlling free speech and defamation. They care about very few and very, very specific things. And we know one of those things, obviously, when we're on their platform is profanity. And that's why we not got cursed while we're on radio. But to think that people in this country are so afraid of candidates and people running for political office that Johan, who has lots of sense, would call in this morning and actually make a comment. Johan himself has a law degree and says, well, you can't be speculative. You can't talk about innuendos and whatever, because you might get taken off the airwaves. That is the very thing that there are people in this country who would want. And Johan, what I would say to you respectfully, and I got to tell you what I told you the last time when you made a suggestion that Chris Saunders and I kiss and make up, because I told you what you could do then. But
well, we know that's not happening.
What I will tell you now is that we appreciate your advice. However, no boundaries have been crossed this morning with having this discussion.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, honey. Chill. I can still make you brownies.
Later.
Bye.
Make him go back in.
So let me be very clear. When you have to tiptoe around people, when you have to tiptoe around political discussions, right? And what people are bringing to the table, because people are so afraid, like they can't even talk about this individual. Their message has to be so tailored in such a way. We got a problem, Jesus. Please come and help us. And that's not going to happen here. The name of this show, gosh darn it, is The Cold Hard Truth. We're not always politically correct. We got the phone lines blowing up. We got another caller, Carrie. Caller, just give me 1 second.
Have a good day.
All right. Let me grab the other one as well. And then we're going to bring you on. So caller with 9, hold on now, mobile caller. Let me see what the number is. It's still scrolling. 925, you're up next.
Morning, Sandra.
Good morning, my dear.
I'm not here to talk about any political party, but I'm here to talk about how Caymanians are being treated in their own home.
Mm.
In 1983, I think I graduated in 82, but 1983, I joined a firm called Sitco.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with about 4 British trust officers, two Caymanian trust officers, Miss Joan Colin Wilson and Kevin Banks, I think, from West Bay, and a guy by the name of I won't call his name, but he was from Ireland. And as a young woman coming out of school, there were names were being called as these. They were saying that these young Caymanians have no sense. We constantly heard that they were standing up drinking coffee in the morning. It got to me that I worked there for a whole year, and I actually went to the Caymanian managing director. I won't call his name, but he's from Westby. And I went to that gentleman, and first I went to his secretary, and I said, I'm so tired because what Miss Johnny used to do, she wouldn't get in an argument with him. She was very subtle. She would say, remember all the things that they were saying, the negative things they were talking about Caymanian, the few Caymanian, which were most of the secretaries that were there. And she would say, remember, she would walk up to them and with a cup of coffee and she'd say, and I love her for this, and I will always never forget how she took up for our people. And I want to say, Miss Joanne, I know if you were listening, I love you, and I know you just buried your sister a few weeks ago, but I just want to say, I know that my mom also worked with your family when you guys were growing up, and I just want to say thank you. Before you're getting gone, before you pass, I want to say, Miss Joanne, thank you so much for taking up for the young Caymanian women that were working in that firm. And she would say things like this, remember, you're in my country, and she would do it so subtly. Sometimes she would walk up and she would say, she says, if you don't like it, you always have a choice to leave. She would say small things like that, but it was actually sitting up and standing up for people like me. And one day I went to the secretary of the managing director and I said, I'm so tired as a young Caymanian here being called all kind of defamatory names and being talked bad about. And I sat in front of that man, and that man looked at me and said, these people are the senior managers, and I really can't do anything. And I looked at him and said, what a spineless man you are. And I experienced that with his son when I went and I told, I think that's his son or nephew, but anyway, some family member. And I said to him at the Civil Service Association how I was being bullied and how I was being, how I had been sexually assaulted. And I think I would love a letter to be, written on my behalf to ask, why it was not, addressed. Anyway, the man looked at the bunch of them looked at me and said, the two men, one from East End and one from West Bay, looked at me and told me, I must go back to my desk and shut up, basically do my job and don't worry about it. But yet they're married to women. They came from women. But another woman of my color, my creed, I was not important. And I'm going to say this to you. When in 2006, when 7 Caymanians were being bullied in a ministry, I remember I stood up for myself. And this is all I did. I had to go through a process where I'm interviewed and then I'm either granted that position or I'm not. I was granted the position. I was being asked by the chief officer all the time where my minister was. He had appointments. He would call and say, well, I'm not here, there. And I would never divulge that information. Because I wouldn't divulge that information, I was not doing what was right. I don't feel I have to divulge anything to you if I am the PA of a minister. It became so bad that the 7 Caymanians were dispersed with all kinds of names. But one of the things that the team ran on.
Let me ask you to wrap it up. We do have another caller waiting.
I know, but I want to explain what we're going through in this country. So let me finish, Sandra, please. One of the things that they ran on is that we need to be very transparent. And no matter what we did on this side, we wanted to involve the opposition, which is the UDP, and let them know. So when I was removed from my position, because I was tasked, a letter was sent off saying that I had done all of these memos, all of these mistakes, which was not me. It was done by a younger gentleman. And I'm very proud to say that he works in the United States and he actually works for NATO. And that young man was the one that had come in and do all of this stuff, and it wasn't me. But yet a letter was sent saying that I had done all of this stuff. So when I found out about it, I addressed it with HR. And I wrote then, when I was removed from my position, I went to Mr. Raymond Alberga, who said I was the 7th Caymanian that had come to him in less than 3 months because of all that was going on. So I wrote an email to let the UDP know and others know that I was no longer going to be the person they needed to contact. They should contact the other person. right, who was taking over from me. Because of that, I was labeled that I was trying to overthrow the government. I was labeled standing up for myself now and saying that I no longer am the PA for this, contact this person, and how I was treated, I feel it was a breach of natural justice against me and my human rights. That's all I said. But because of that, I was torn through. Listen now, I want you to hear this. I was the same young lady that met my same minister on his first vacation after doing all his documentation to get him on that vacation. The same young lady that met him in a squall with Captain Ireland books flying in and his whole family with his 6 pieces of luggage wet in my brand new car, waited for him at the airport with his documentation, met him. He drove him over to get his car, picked his family back up in the rain, took them to his house, asked me to wait for him, take him to the airport because there was going to be the first meeting in Kimmerbrook. His documentations was in order and handed him a file. And you know what was said to me? This is what you call going beyond the call of duty. In a matter of weeks, then I was a troublemaker. I was doing wrong. Instead of having a conversation with me like I was a human being, I was treated like I was a robot. I was like no one. So when people are going to talk that we need to stand up, yes, Caymanians, stand up. I said last year, I called into Sandra's show and I said, mothers, if your children are being bullied, whether in the private sector or the civil service, stand up for your children. We have nothing left. I tell people all the time, stand up and put these people straight because they will do nothing else but tear us down, and they have no respect for us once they come here and they get Cayman service. So if I'm against a lot of them, yes, I am. Do I believe we should be doing what Trump did, getting an airplane and sending them, a lot of them that have Cayman status there? Yes, a lot of them needs to go. So I just wanted to share that with you on things, and I can share so much more because you know what? I don't have nothing to hide. I'm an honest person, and I try very hard, and I have documentation to prove exactly what I said to you this morning. And it just goes to show how our people are suffering and oppressed, and we have nobody. Human rights are there, but we have no one to stand up for us. And let me tell you, the civil service is in a really bad shape.
Thank you very, very much. All right.
She needs another one.
All right, folks. It is, I think it goes without saying that you have got to be prepared. And this is one of the things, you know, even this talk show, this is my second round now with DMS, same thing. Last time the show got axed. So I'm very much aware of the realities of it. This time I'm paying for my own airtime, so I have that degree of autonomy. But I know that when it really comes down to it, when it comes down to push comes to shove, that I need to have my own radio station where I am the owner. That's why CMR has been successful, because I'm the owner of CMR. I don't have any business partners. Not even my husband has a single share in that company, in order to protect the integrity of that company and the things that I am able to do and say. And I get it. The envelope is often pushed. And someone recently asked a question. I was doing a discussion somewhere with a group, and someone asked the question about chaos. And I said, chaos is not always a bad thing. Chaos is not always a negative thing. Sometimes you come into an industry, you come into a situation, you create chaos, you upend the business, the business model that everybody else has been operating by, because they need a little shaking up, honey. They need an earthquake. They need a 10.0 earthquake for people to really recognize what is going on. So we have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, it's me again.
Hey, hey, Debbie.
Yes,
Morning, Debbie.
Oh, good morning, Karen. How are you?
I'm good, sweetie.
Good. I have one quick comment.
Yeah.
I listened to Johan and his comments when he called in. Previous to your last caller.
Yep.
Which, kudos to her, because everything that she's saying is true. In my case, my point taken very well. But I'd just like to ask Johan, when he said it's plural, it was a plural statement. Some of these comments and that are being made are libelous, that could incur lawsuits, right? Will Kerry is being sued. I'd like to know if he thinks my comments are also worthy of a lawsuit. I think I made myself very clear when I called in. I said I have a comment and I have a question. And the last time I checked the Freedom of Information Act, I have the right to do so. And it is a question
here's the thing, right? What I think about what Johan said, and I do find it interesting because, even when I reflect on Johan's comments a couple of weeks ago about Franz Manderson, and some of the things that he said, some of the allegations that he made, people might have found, it was certainly offensive if you Franz Manderson. I'm sure Franz Manderson was offended by that. But there's a lot of things that Johan has said, even on this program, that he calls in and makes accusations about the leadership of the civil service, et cetera, et cetera. But somebody could say that that's defamatory too.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say, may I remind Johan a few weeks ago of his comments that were said openly to the public regarding the deputy governor.
Yeah.
So therefore, I have, and I will continue to ask questions, make comments, and I will repeat. Let me repeat in case I did not make myself clear. Mr. Scott on Instagram has, in posing his candidacy for Cayman
Girl, we heard the question. That's not defamatory. You're not going to worry about that. It's a question.
No. My question to him is, are you on board with the protest that is trying to protect Caymanians, not insult Caymanians? As we speak now, we are a minority in our country, and the arrogance and the audacity to have new Caymanians come here and refer to us as riffraff, put a cage and call it the Guantanamo Bay on the West Bay dock is just absolutely, it's not acceptable. And I'm not even going to start on the blackface pictures. So if Mr. Scott is using pictures of the protest in his Instagram advertisements, I want to know and I want the answer. Why is it then that you have a candidate in Northwest, your candidate in West Northwest, who does not have the same ideas and in fact is very much against it and was very insulting to who was one of the committee members about that? He, his mother, and his other committee members. It was to the point where I took great umbrage. And that person resigned immediately and made it very clear that she cannot align herself with their political thoughts because she will continue to march, she will continue to protest, and she is very pro-Caymanian. And the fact that these comments were made, and they were made directly toward her, and to compound that her mother happens to be one of the organizers of the protest, I find it very hypocritical, either of Dan Scott to post that, or he needs to have a come to Jesus moment with his candidate, because it has spread like fire through the entire West Bay community. And it certainly isn't a good look for that candidate.
Well, I
think you were crystal clear in your point earlier.
So I just wanted to make that also clear, because he said it in the plural sense. I want to know, are you including me in that?
Listen, I don't know, Johan, his sugar might be low this morning. That's why I say I gotta take him some brownies, because I don't really
double dose. Point taken.
I don't really know. Listen, this is the biggest. No. None of us not got issues with him. But listen,
do not make comments about the deputy governor.
Listen to me. We got to add another caller. Hold on 1 second. We're gonna just add another caller. But let me say this much, right? When it comes to these freedoms that we claim that we value so dearly, it cannot be a situation where I fight for my freedom of speech and only my freedom of speech. When I fight for freedom of speech, it is for everybody in this country and not just for me.
While you preach.
Exactly.
Kaboom yourself.
So, we got to do better. We have definitely got to do better. And so
it was like
I fight.
who's
Listen,
speaking of her experience in
regardless,
the private sector.
regardless of what beef I may have with Carrie or anybody else, I fight for their right in this country to have some basic rights. And just like the other day,
nerve that I have when he called in and said that.
Just like the other day with that
the one nerve I have left. Okay. So I don't know if he's pro.
Just like the other day with that.
I don't know what's going on in his mind this morning. But if that comment was meant toward me, I would suggest that you hand think very.
No, I don't think it was. I think he's probably talking about Carrie and I.
Takes two steps backwards.
Yeah, but let me just say.
I don't have any brownies to give in.
By the way, people keep saying that you keep saying West Northwest, and it's no longer West Northwest. It is now West Bay North.
Because I'm a little bit irritated. I was going.
Yeah, West Bay North.
Anyway, I'm a little bit irritated.
But we know what you're talking about.
Right.
But anyway, we have another caller. We have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, ladies.
Hi.
I was trying to not call.
Good morning.
But, I heard my fellow troublemaker out of the West called in about the protest. I was just waiting for the right time, and she was getting a little bit hot under the collar there, so I really had no choice. But I just want to, again, not to drum up or rehash or whatever it is that Mr. Dan Scott's team and party has more or less suggested that the people who attended this protest, myself and Ms. Debbie.
But like I said, is that what he suggested? Because I'm confused. I actually do have the video here, so maybe we'll just play it since we're going a little bit into overtime. But she's saying that he didn't actually say anything about it. He was just playing it as the backdrop to video, which means that whoever did his video editing put that in there. But what would be the purpose of putting that in there?
This is precisely my point. So it has come to, as one of the organizers of that protest, it's come to my attention, that his candidate, Jordan Rivers, out of West Bay North, and or by extension, his committee has made some very, beyond what I think is inappropriate, I would probably dare say hurtful, my skin isn't that thin, to the effect that they do not share the same values, and they don't have the same sentiment toward our position that, that what this man said was wholly inappropriate. I won't even touch on the other things. How do you, as the leader of your party, so he had one candidate who was actually there in attendance at the protest, and he had another one lambasting his committee and telling them allegedly things that they are the real riffraff, the people who went out there to protest. Those are the real riffraff. We are just out there trying to create separation.
Hold on, Siobhan. I can join another person while you're talking. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we are just trying to gather a group of people to create separation and segregation, and that we must give way to these new Caymanians and be more accommodating to them, and that
not when they walk around in blackface, we don't.
we were being kaboom, inappropriate to him. And the reality is, an individual who can move to another person's country, knowing that this country is a melting pot of some 135 probably plus nationalities, and make that comment. I don't care if he directed it to a dog. It was wrong. It was wrong. It remains wrong. It remains wrong that he can say it. So I'm not sure where Mr. Scott stands, and perhaps he might want to clarify, because what is coming out from his candidate out in the north does not seem to align with what has appeared to be used in his video. So it is
wow.
Very confusing. But if those are the sentiments of him and his candidate, then perhaps he might want to remove the video. It doesn't align. I'm sorry. It simply doesn't. Today, he has yet no one other than Ms. Julie Hunter from that party that I can recall was in attendance. No one other than her made any sort of stance or statement. And Mr. Scott himself, running a former large Big Four firm, should understand that those statements are more than intended to separate and to create division. But that's how his candidate in West Bay North feels. Those were the sentiments that I understand came from that candidate and that committee. So I welcome Mr. Scott to come and clarify those statements, come and clarify the position on behalf of his party. If he is the leader, I personally believe that the party is a reflection of its leader. Yes, everybody has individual thoughts and everybody has their own individual mind, but if the group on a whole has decided that they are not going to support it, then come out and say that and remove that video, remove it, because you are misrepresenting. If that is the case, remove the video, state your piece, say what you mean what you say, and stop using what is convenient. Stop using what is convenient. Nobody lent a voice, $1, nothing, nothing.
We have another caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Quickly, thanks. Good morning, Lisa Prendergast. I just want to quickly say this to you. Most of those politicians are doing what they need to do to get themselves in. But the one, I want to say this to Rolston especially, that stood up for the people back there. I'm proud of you, man. I'm very proud of you. And I want to say this to you, Rolly. If you can get and start now, I want you to speak to civil servants, open the floor for them to call you. I don't care if they're from East End, because when you stand up and you get in, you represent the people of the Cayman Islands. That means from north, east, west, south Cayman, Rack, and Little Cayman. Find out those Caymanians that are being trampled on in the private sector. Do something about it. Use human rights. Create a law to make sure that some of our Caymanians does not have to go through this. I know what that pain feels like at 16 years old and going to a managing director, and he looked at me and says, I can't do anything about it. So I walked out of the building. I resigned and I left the building.
I did the same thing.
I went through hell at two different areas in the civil service career, but people don't know how hard I worked to do things, and the two dangerous things that we've ever had in our country, two traumatic things that we've had in our country, which the two hurricanes Paloma and Hurricane Ivan. And I went overboard. I bent over backwards to help. And the civil servants, I'm going to say it again, whichever politician can get to the Caymanian civil servants, find out their needs, look at them and have them on board with them, they will never come out, because the civil service is the biggest workforce in this country. And when civil servants are oppressed and they do not have a voice, it is very sad. And I'm saying it to everybody out there today. Get hold of the civil servants.
Let me say this. Let me say this as well, right? My concern is if candidates believe they're not even elected yet, and if they kind of have this personality where they think that they can control any form of a narrative in this country and silence people, what do you think if they're managing the civil service? What is going to happen to civil servants? Civil servants better pay attention. I'm just saying this is a real concern. Civil servants, this is one of the things that you need to listen to with all of your candidates, right? How do they feel? You guys already talk about the fact that your voices are not heard and you can't say nothing and you can't do anything. If you have a certain type of individual in there, you have to know that whatever little freedoms you have left are about to get further eroded. We have one more caller who just joined, and then we're gonna have to wrap things up because I've got an appointment I need to get to. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you?
Morning, dear. How are you?
Not too bad. This is Jordan. So
Jordan, yes, morning.
I was notified. I guess I'm being discussed in the show. So before I clarify anything, would you please be so kind as to explain to me what was being said?
Well, there was a question that was put, not really so much to you, but more to the lead of your party, that there was a video that was that Dan Scott had done where he showed an image of protesters, but my understanding is he didn't say anything about it, so I am a little bit confused about that part of it. But anyway, he used it in some video backdrop, and they said that you have expressed, and I don't know if they heard that directly or if it was hearsay or Chinese telephone or how they heard it, but they said that they heard that you were not supportive of what the protesters were doing, and so they are wondering what Dan Scott's position was and why he shared that, picture basically of the protesters in his video? Was it because he was supportive of it or because he wasn't? And then if he is, how does that justify with what they say was your position of not being supportive of the protests?
Okay,
I think
well,
I did my best there.
All right, I'll go back and listen to the rest of the show and call in on Monday again to clarify further. But if I understand it correctly, I can answer it quite simply. From the party's perspective, us as collective Caymanians that come together, we fully support people's rights to go and peacefully protest in this country. We do not think that protesting should ever descend into chaos, number one. So let's clarify that now. We are all Caymanians. We all believe in the right to protest as long as it's peaceful. When it comes to what I'm assuming would have been my comments to my committee members, firstly, the day of the protest, I was actually off island, so I was not here. What my comments were to my committee at that point in time was that it was 15 minutes the same. What I was referring to was not the protesters themselves going out there to protest for it. What I do think now is interesting is that if we as a country are going to be mad about things, we cannot choose to have selective outrage. Yes, there are a lot of things wrong, but we need to stick by those same things and actually be mad about those as well. When I was referring to the 15 minutes the same, I'm talking more to the potential elected leaders of this country. If you're going out there and protesting, you should be protesting as a citizen of this country, not using it as some sort of political ammunition to gain clout.
Well, maybe they were. You don't know that. It's just so happens that the timing obviously makes it look like it's political, right?
Yeah. When you're seeing signs that are saying, "Hey, sponsored and promoted by so and so and so, vote for so and so and so," and I'm not going to.
Oh, I didn't. I don't. Hold on one second. Just to be fair, I wasn't there. I was also overseas, but I was watching it and I didn't really see any of those signs. I'll be honest, I sponsored an element of it as well. But I didn't need any signage to say that or whatever. It's just that I supported the cause. So, you know.
Yeah. So, and that's fair. Like I said, I was not there myself, but I did see a lot of the videos for it. And what I saw was an avid attempt to publicly give themselves notoriety for being there. Now, I can tell you, I've been a part of a lot of protests in my life, but never once have I used it for any kind of political advancement, because that's not what protests are for. That is people in the community and of the country coming together for what they believe is right and making their voices heard. And I do not disagree with that. That needs to happen a lot more, quite frankly, in this country, because there are a lot of injustices that take place in this country. What I was saying was, to my committee members, right, is that I do not believe that persons that are seeking political office should use that as a platform to promote themselves politically. If I was there and had the ability to be there, you would not have seen me saying, vote for Jordan Rivers as your candidate for West Bay North, because I'm out there promoting.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is, you do understand.
Sandra, 1 second. Let me also clarify this while I spend some time with you. I tried to rectify this misunderstanding with my committee member, and I can tell you, because I have the text, they did not reach out to me. They did not respond to me. I tried multiple times to clarify this, but I was not given the time of day to clarify and rectify that. So I did make an attempt to try and fix this situation. I'm just quite surprised that it actually reached this far, because it was a simple misunderstanding. And if we came together and communicated with each other, I could have rectified this in a matter of 2 minutes. So I don't want this to be.
Yeah, and let me be honest, Jordan. We're gonna have to wrap it up here, but it's very clear at this time when you see candidates out and about, and you've never seen them out and about before. The foregone conclusion is they're doing it because it's election time, and it is what it is. I mean, nobody shouldn't really take too much offense to that. I think we know that that's how the game is played. All right, one more comment, and then we got to wrap it up because I got to go to my physiotherapy so I can keep walking without pain. Last caller that just called, final comment of the day.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in. So
I have just listened to George's
oh gosh, I forgot, Miss Debbie, that you were there. All right, Debbie, go ahead.
Yeah, I have listened to Jordan's reply.
Yes.
And I have an answer to that.
Yes.
Little too late, too sad, too bad, my dad.
What?
Cried me a river.
You got lyrics, man. Where you get lyrics from?
They flow natural and sounding.
Hey.
They flow, trust me, they flow.
Rapper Debbie in the house.
I don't have any political aspirations, okay?
Yes. Okay.
There are no political aspirations on my part.
Were there people out there with political signs that day? Because I wasn't there, like I said, so I don't know what y'all were up to. I didn't.
I can comment and provide some clarity around the signage. So, but if Mr. Rivers actually took time to see what's on the sign, he would have actually known what happened. Because I'm one of the organizers.
Okay, one more thing. I want to respond
of the
to one more
protest.
thing with that George you said.
I can't hear you, Debbie.
Say
that again. I think you chipped out for a minute there.
He did say that he did try to reach out to who's now no longer his committee member. And he left numerous messages which were never received or responded to. Rightly so. When you show me who you are the first time, and I believe you. So that begins and ends right there. There's nothing to respond to. Okay? Do not try to let this, make this what it wasn't. It is what it is. What you didn't know or what you didn't care to know or you didn't know is that I happened to be one of the organizers. It was taken very personally. The things that were said, that they were insulting, not on the insulting.
Well, if Jordan now says that he didn't say these things,
because it can't be downplayed. That the horse has already jumped over the fence.
Well, I can tell you about horses instead. So
I know that you can. That's exactly why I use that phrase. You're not far from a fool, so don't try to take me for one this morning.
I'm not.
I have a decent relationship, or I had a decent relationship with your parents. I had no issues with you. But
we don't have any
your comments, your committed comments, were not taken very kindly. And you knew that I am one of the organizers of that protest. If you didn't know it, it didn't take you long to find out. And I'm not going to make any more comments about what was said, but there were many insulting comments, and it has spread like wildfire through West Bay.
Okay.
And actually, you said that you weren't on island. You did say that. And and that's a good cop-out. That's a wonderful cop-out, especially for one of your other committee members to say it's a good thing that he wasn't, so that he didn't have to attend or be a part of that. And I won't use the language that was used. We are not riffraff, as one of your committee members referred to us. The people that attended that are not riffraff. We take umbrage to being referred to as riffraff. You said what you said, your mother said what she said, and your committee members said what they said. And if you think that my daughter is going to come home feeling very dejected, rejected, and disappointed by you, and the comments made by you and your committee members, knowing that she attended that protest, that I'm one of the organizers of that protest, and if you thought that she wasn't going to tell me what happened, why she was going to resign with immediate effect, which she did, and said it to all of you, then you must be born, I don't know, in China, because she wasn't breaking any rules. She was over it, under it.
So hold on a second. Hold on a second, Mama. Judge Sandy, have a question of clarification here. Are you trying to say that she was somehow reprimanded for going to the protest?
That's our understanding. That's our understanding of what took place. Not only was she reprimanded, his committee, his mother, that we understand, further dissented into a diatribe about the organizers, the people who attended, and so forth. Like his own co-candidate, Miss Julie Hunter, was also in attendance. And with respect to a sponsored sign, if he had taken time to have his cronies check it out, he would have seen what was on the signage. He, being in the tourism business himself, should be disgusted and ashamed that a man like Chris Alpers also reflects and represents a tourism product, behaving and using the verbiage, pictures that he used. He should be ashamed. And to further cast any aspersions on us or to degrade us, people need to pay attention to him. But I'll leave you guys there and I'll continue to listen.
Close. Kaboom! She needs three, Sandra.
Order in the courtroom, honey
New
child.
Caymanians, quote unquote, protect New Caymanians. They were New Caymanians that we were protesting against. We're not protecting those New Caymanians, Jordan. So sit in your corner, in your world, and continue to have that mindset. That your leader obviously doesn't have the mindset because he has posted pictures of the protest. I am not technically savvy, so I didn't know the video. Okay?
Can I please clarify this?
Yes, let Jordan speak. Order. Let Jordan speak. Go ahead, Jordan.
Been a lot of berating from persons that have secondhand information versus allowing me to clarify as a person that was actually there.
Okay. Go ahead.
We told all of our staff members, all of our committee members, that you have the right to protest and feel free to protest. What was not transmitted here, which is obvious by what they're saying, is her daughter was not reprimanded for her actions. We did not.
Why would you guys say anything at all to the committee members? You don't control what they do. I'm just wondering about that part of it.
But we did not try to at all. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I'm just wondering why, because the insinuation is if you have to tell someone that you're giving them permission, the insinuation from that is that
everyone has the right.
Oh, okay.
What was said from that specific committee member was that, well, I'm sorry because I'm going to continue protesting and I do not want it to reflect this party if it does not align with their values. What we tried to explain was you are free to protest. It is not going to change whatever alignment we have. We all believe that people should have the right to protest. What I was explaining that night in particular was
then we don't have the right to challenge your leader?
For an adult conversation, I need to be able to clarify the point. I cannot be arguing with persons.
I don't hear no clarity there. I don't hear no clarity.
Carrie Whitaker, make the man
Your
speak.
Honor. Okay,
make him speak. Go ahead. Witness, take your time. But I got to go here in a few minutes. Go ahead.
No, I completely get it. This is my point here. There was a simple misunderstanding that was not allowed to be clarified. And that's all I was trying to do was clarify that immediately when I heard, because I do believe that she was an important member of my committee and I do want her support and I do need
Keyword was. Please remember that, Jordan.
Yes, and I completely understand that now. But the point is,
it's a shame you didn't understand it then.
If we cannot communicate with each other as mature adults, we can never get forward. And that's what I wanted to kind of
Lord have mercy.
I don't know why this has become what it has. I can tell you, I support my Caymanians because I am one. What I do not support is the politicization of public protests with persons across this country. You should not be using that as a platform to give your message.
Well, then perhaps, Jordan, you need to have a talk with the leader of your party because he is using it in his on Instagram.
Yes, because we support our people.
I didn't even know that there was a video. He obviously, if he doesn't support it, then there's a lot of hypocrisy going on between yourself and your party leader. Because I don't think he was a fly on the wall that night. And I can tell you right now, my daughter didn't lie to me. And of course she didn't answer. There is no need to answer your 5 unread voice notes. Because when you show me who you are the first time, I believe you. And you know, what has happened is that because my mouth couldn't hold it any longer. So when this topic came up this morning, I said, this is it. This is the morning I'm going to call in. I have comments and I have a question for Mr. Scott. So you're backpedaling, Jordan. Don't waste my time with backpedaling. I'm not into that, okay? You said what you said. The members of your committee said what they said.
Yeah.
Unlike me, my daughter is not verbal as I am. She's quiet. She just walked away from it, and that's the end of it for her.
She could have communicated with me and explained that.
I take it personally.
I have known your daughter for a vast majority of my life, and I hold the highest regard and respect for her and for her opinion.
And she holds the same opinion you have of my daughter is the opinion she has of me, and I'm one of the organizers that support that. So would have been in your best interest.
Fine. But a simple misunderstanding took place, Miss Debbie. And I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to argue
either.
He was saying it was a misunderstanding.
It was no misunderstanding. He said what he said.
Why would I, as a person running for public office, therefore spit in the face of my own people when I'm trying to represent them as a servant?
Why did you say that we were there to seek attention? Why did you say, or not you?
Okay. So
I'm not going to name the people because I'm not going to get everybody involved. And I may not have at this point because I'm so upset. I reminded myself I can first.
Yes.
I'm so upset.
Rein in. And of course, you know,
to name the names of the people.
Yes.
I'm dealing with you. There are other people on the committee that say things that were even worse than what you said. Being called riff-raff is one of those things. It's the people that attended.
No one called.
Right.
No one called anyone riff-raff.
So, you know, I don't. Let me. All right, just a second. All right, everybody, pause for one quick second. Order. Let me say this because we were obviously even taking his negative, what he was putting out there. He being the guy here, Mr. Chris Alpers, the term riffraff, and there were some people who had a difference of opinion, and that's fine. They were like, "Oh, we don't want to take that on." I took it on because I said, you know what? This is where we need to show people that you're trying to put negative words on me. I'm going to take it and make it into something that is a negative, right? Because you don't have that kind of power over me. So that was kind of the psychological move behind those of us, I think. I mean, that was my position anyway, of adopting the term riffraff for myself, because I'm not going to make you insult me, right? You came as riffraff to my country, Bobo. So you don't even know the definition of riffraff. So you don't have the right to call anybody else, whether it's Caymanian, Jamaican, Filipino, or anybody else in this country. You don't get the right to call them riffraff when you're here at invitation and welcome of the people of the Cayman Islands. And I know that there were some Caymanians who felt very strongly about it. We briefly discussed it on this show. You know, they were out making their commentary on social media, like, oh, why not identifying with riffraff, whatever. Everybody has a choice. And I think people all we are individuals, and we stand maybe in slightly different positions when it comes to these types of things. But this whole idea, Jordan, I think this is where maybe you could take a little bit of counsel. I know you're used to you're new, my apologies, to the political game. When you make a comment, as you've said, even today, that people were using this for, political clout and to get attention for themselves politically, I would put the same question to you and ask you, aren't a lot of the things that you've been doing lately in the public eye, going to events around the island, isn't that because you're trying to get seen and known by the people and gain some political clout and hopefully some support for your campaign? That's what politicians do.
No, I completely understand that, but I've always gone to several political events around the island.
No, these are not political events. Like when you show up at the Economic Forum, I've never seen you there before.
Ma'am, I've gone to several economic forums. I can show you the passes I have. I've always been a part of these things because I've always tried to enhance myself and my knowledge.
Well, you and your entire party, I've never seen an entire party show up to a political forum before. So we're to believe that had nothing to do with the fact that you guys are running for political office?
If we are expected to lead a country, don't you think it's the best thing that we understand how the country
Absolutely.
operates?
And that's what I said at the time. It was good to see you guys there. And I wish I'd see you there all the time. But once again, if people made that comment about you, that you were there, because it is political season, that's nothing to take insult about, but you kind of almost don't need to say it because it's obvious. And I think the issue here is you are a candidate in the race. So maybe there's certain things that you need to leave to other people to discuss and say, and you just focus on your candidacy and going door to door, and you don't get involved in that element of the conversation. I'm just saying it comes across as petty and has a particular look because you yourself are a candidate, and you would know. Let's just be crystal clear here now, and I need to render my final decision. You would have known that the person that you were directing those comments at specifically would have been Ralston Anglin. And if Ralston had not been there, I doubt you would have said one kahoo about the situation. That is my final verdict, folks.
All right, I'm sorry. Say that again for me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm saying that if Ralston was not there, right? I doubt you or your committee members would have had anything to say about people being there and using it for political clout. He was not the only one there. Most politicians who had any sense were there that day because they understood the political mileage that they were going to get out of it. My verdict to you is I doubt you would have had anything to say about this at all if Ralston was not there. That's my order.
Exactly. The general statement was this, Ms. Sandra. We said that it was best for us to not be involved in that because we do not want it to be seen as using it for political mileage. It had nothing to do with individual candidates or current incumbents, but which there were several of both. What we said is that it was the best thing for us to stay neutral on that and not involve ourselves, because I am not going to be viewed as a person that is using a public protest based off of what the people feel as political mileage for myself. I'm simply not. I don't play that kind of politics. I never have. I've always stood by my people and for my people of this country. It's never been, from the time I was 11 years old, when I went to my first protest, it was never for me to gain any kind of mileage. Granted, I was 11 years old, but it's matured that way ever since. I do not play politics with this country. I do not play politics with my people.
Jordan,
I stand by them.
All right. My verdict remains the same despite your additional evidence. I have ruled, young man, good luck in the election. And you guys have a good...
I have one last question. Since we're going through this political rhetoric of what candidate was there, what hopeful
yes, they were all there pretty much, but anyhow.
Of them there. I just called Julie's name because she happened to be in the same party as George Scott's party. Okay? But point taken. But my question to you is, a normal, non-political, who has never aspired to be a politician, like myself, will never be a politician because I'm too outspoken, I'm too controversial, and I would never want to be a politician. My daughter, I don't know if she will aspire in years to come. I can't answer that. She's not a politician. Grassroots people, Jordan, West Bears. Well, I'm a South Downer, so, adopted by West Bears. You took
I'm a half bear.
Us being there.
Yeah, we all clean it with bears this morning. I got bear lineage too now, Include me.
My great grandmother came from West Bay.
Listen, y'all need to hurry up. Me too. Listen, one question, Ms. Debbie. Sorry to cut you, but one question says so. CNP didn't want to be there because they didn't want to be seen as political opportunists, but instead they send drones to capture footage. Laughing out loud. Did you guys send drone to capture footage of the event?
No, not that I'm aware of.
No, I don't know anything about that.
Well, somebody seems to know. But anywho, Miss Debbie, wrap it up, quick, 30 seconds.
I'm going to wrap it up by saying, Jordan, I'm not. My daughter had a lot of hope in you. You're both very young, and as you said, you're truthful. She's known you for many, many years. Let me just end by saying, you are a disappointment to her, a big disappointment to her. Your comment, your committed comment, your mother's comment, I took personally, and she took very personally. And as you said, you are correct. She said, in her resignation that was sent to you immediately after the meeting, she will continue to protest, and she cannot align herself with yourselves because you obviously are not on the same page. She stands for the oppression of her Caymanian people.
Stands against oppression. All right. Thank you, honey child. All right.
Okay,
final.
Thank
you, all callers.
Thank you, Sandra.
Have a beautiful day.
For giving me a voice today.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And I'm still gonna fight. And I ain't taking nothing down. My people must be seen and heard, not smothered.
All right.
Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks, everybody who called in and participated today. Y'all heard my verdict. That's it. That's the end of it. Folks, maybe sometimes you need to sit down and hash it out amongst each other and have a little bit of a conversation. He's lost a committee member. He said he saw her as valuable. Well, honey child, I don't know what to say. I had my little blowhorn, but that blowhorn not working no more. Somebody please get me a blowhorn because I'm going to need that in this election hoopla season. Anywho, it is what it is, right? Everybody's going to choose to do what they want to do that demonstrates to the people that they stand with the people. Some of y'all have already missed the mark and you're going to have a hard time trying to correct the narrative. That's Auntie Sandy's verdict. Please do have a safe and wonderful weekend. We'll be back here on Monday morning. What a hot mess, honey child.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth. on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.